Okay, we're recording.
We're recording. Let me see this trash opinion.
Show up. All right,
we're
everybody
doing
going.
it. Okay.
Everybody going to the lab. You'll see like the honorable mentions thing here.
I see it. I'm seeing it.
Yes, sir.
Seeing it.
Yeah. Okay, so it basically also I'm Maka. Hi.
Why do we have to
I'm
introduce
showing this
ourselves?
to
We're literally nobody else is
because
watching this, dude.
because I'll be showing this to my posterity. No, I'm lying. I'm not gonna have any children. Anyway,
Enough of the introduction. There's my intro. You happy?
he's
satisfied?
memeing in the recording, and he's still memeing. Anyway, TLDR, I threw together a list. I have 37 characters from like 12, 13 anime or something. Most of them are shonen,
Some weeb
and
shit.
I ranked them based.
It's some weeb
It's
shit.
not. Is shit, hold on, where's the meme? Where's the weeb slap meme? Does anyone have it?
Fucking weebs.
Hold on. I got it. I got it. I got it. There it is. There it is. So. On. Okay, the mic's still on, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, disclaimer: this isn't an objective list. This isn't based on like writing or anything. This is just personal opinion. Although most of the people in the top are pretty well written, I think. So if you're gonna roast on anything, don't roast based on like objectivity. Just roast based on how bad the opinion is.
I'm gonna do it.
What happened?
But I'm gonna
I'm
do it.
roasted.
Okay. Anyway, it's 37, but there's like 12 honorable mentions, and I call them honorable mentions, but the actual list is only limited to 3 characters per series because I had to find a way not to talk about Hunter x Hunter for like 2 hours. So
Yikes.
honorable
I
mentions
mean, I would
list.
not be opposed to it.
I wouldn't be either, but I don't think everyone else is cultured enough to appreciate Togashi's greatness, so we're not gonna do that, unfortunately. Yeah, also yeah, it feels bad, but it's okay because Bleach is back now. Anyway, here's the graveyard of all the Togashi characters that didn't make the list. 1. There you go. There's 1. Oh crap! It's a separate thing. Okay, that's fine.
What is still
It's
Togashi?
all right. It's all right. He's still great. Has anyone here not seen Yu? Oh, great. Wait,
I
Fred didn't even
haven't.
watch Chapter Blank.
Haha.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, no, you watched up to like the end of the Dark Tournament, right?
I mean, I
A
feel
little
like that's.
after.
Yeah, I feel like
When
everybody should watch
stops.
at
I
least the end
watched
of
up
the
until
Dark
when
Tournament.
when Genkai did
Yeah,
the
okay.
test on the main squad and being like, oh, there's great
Yeah.
bad things happening.
Yeah, that. Oh, Acker muted himself. This is okay.
But yeah, I feel like
I don't think
everybody
Akron-
should watch the at least up to the Dark Tournament. It's just like it's just so
Chapter
good.
Black is still pretty good. It has some ass pulley things at the end, but it's okay because Sentui's really good. Hold on, let me pull it over. There we go.
Oh, that's a
I
good
mean-
idea.
Yeah. That's why I said I wanted you to record this. So Sentui's cool. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the honorable mentions because there's still a bunch of characters. But anyway, Sentui's cool. Nice parallel to Yusuke because he used to be the spirit detective. Is like. Remember X said something like a while ago about who's pulling in waifu lore?
Probably Neon. Is it Neon?
It's Neon.
Bruh, why are people still pulling in here?
Anyway, wait, why do people still what?
Why do
Pull
people
in the
still pull
waifu
in
lore
here?
channel because we only use bots now.
Oh, I thought Acker was talking. Anyway, yeah, that's Sensui. He's cool. Who's the next
Could have
one?
been fleshed
Oh,
out
no.
a little more, I think. But
But I think he did what he was supposed to do fine, because like some of the stuff he had was opposite to Yusuke, and some of the stuff he was like written to be was the same, because like he was the spirit detective, which was the same.
yeah.
Apparently, like when he first fought Yusuke for this first time, he was weaker, but his skill was way higher. That
He
was
didn't get
another
enough
thing.
screen time like Turo
And
did.
I
'Cause
think-
Turo had like
yeah.
30 episodes of screen time, and Sensui had like
It was
half of
it was
that.
kind of ridiculous. which is fine. The one thing I've never seen anyone like bring this up. I think I've talked about this like really briefly, but the one thing I really like about him is you kind of appreciate him more, and I think at least for me, you kind of appreciate him more in retrospect after you finish like the tournament arc after Chapter Black. What was it, the Demon World tournament?
Yeah.
Because since like after the end of Chapter Black up until like the end, Yusuke has this kind of like arc where he's just fighting to fight, and he doesn't realize that he's kind of lost his purpose until like the fight with Yomi, right? Whereas like, in contrast, Sensui has this like lifelong, well, not lifelong goal, but something he's dedicated his life to throughout Chapter Black, and that's what keeps him going. That's like the biggest difference between him and Yusuke, I think. Which is dope.
Mhm.
I know his philosophy is kind of whack, but that's okay.
And again, like I just
Anyway,
think he needed more time to be fleshed out because like there's a lot of nuances to him that weren't explored enough. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like the whole multiple personalities thing.
Yeah, we saw like 3. We
Yeah.
saw like
Barely
we saw like
3. Like there
Kazuma,
was
and then
I'll have to look into this once I get close enough. Because I have no idea who this person is yet.
well, yeah, have someone you do know. Well,
Who's
X,
up
go ahead.
next?
Go
Who's
ahead,
up
go ahead.
next? No, I'm just saying who's up next.
What do you mean no?
No, I'm just saying who's up next.
Bruh, just do the next one!
Oh, okay,
Do
fine.
it.
We're doing the next one. Here, have someone you do know.
Hiei! Oh!
Yeah, he got cut. I'm sad he didn't make the list because he's really cool.
Oh!
It's okay. It's okay. There's still 3 Yu Yu Hakusho characters. It's okay. Yu Yu Hakusho is still really
Oh, I'm just
sad. Yeah. Anyway, Hiei, everybody. Hi, welcome back, Agner. Hiei's cool. Everybody likes him. I don't really need to say much.
But why isn't he in the
think.
top 30?
Because there's better characters.
There's
I
better
refuse.
characters I personally like more.
He said, I refuse.
I refuse.
People aren't ready for where Rohan is on this list. Nobody's ready.
Rohan's
Rohan's probably like number
He's-
1.
Surprise! He's right now.
He's not. He's not. By the way, I'm meaning he's not on the list. I'm sorry.
He's not on the list? I'm surprised.
He's not on the list.
I think Rohan's overrated. TBH.
He's
He's
He's an okay.
Oh, it's okay. Look. No, you freaking JoJo fans. We're not gonna talk about JoJo until we get to the JoJo characters. I swear to God.
It's okay.
This is not
He's-
happening.
he was a good
Okay,
self-insert.
boss.
You can't escape. I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on with Yu Yu. F.
I kind of expected that. I mean,
Yikes.
if he is
Bro, the
on
whole
the
cast
list,
is
then-
getting shafted.
Yeah,
I've got a
I don't know.
sword.
I can't believe.
Cut demons with them.
Stop talking about how I didn't make top 37. It makes my butthole twitch.
You really should be a voice actor.
I should be a voice actor. I know.
Go for
That
it.
was amazing. Anyway, I can't believe Sagashi
Spirit
shafting things twice.
sword.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he's cool. He's so shafted. I'm not even gonna bring his picture up.
Oh, poor guy.
Yikes.
Bro, okay, so
It's
what, is the honorable mentions ordered at all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if
No, not-
EA was going to be on the honorable mentions list, then I kind of expected Kuwabara to get axed.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
But Kurama still has a chance, boys.
See, we'll see.
Speaking of
I better see
Kurama,
you stay back in the top 10.
Imagine-
I'm quit.
Imagine if I put Kurama next. Anyway, we're done with Yu Yu Hakusho because the next 2 Yu Yu Hakushos are on the list. Moving on to a better series,
Oh,
Excuse
Hunter
me?
Hunter.
Hunter Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Hunter.
He
Fair
said,
enough.
"Excuse me." Paris.
Excuse, bro.
Listen, does anyone remember Pariston?
Oh
I
yeah, I
remember
can't.
Paris.
I can't forget that shitlord.
Yeah. So, I'll talk about Pariston more when we get to Meruem because.
His name is literally Rat.
Rat.
oh shit!
Yeah, he's a little rat. He's such a troll.
Yeah, he's a
So-
fucking
I love him.
asshole. I love him.
I can't
like-
wait for Iron's favorite Leon to make
Leorio.
or
Leorio.
Leorio to be on
Leorio-
this.
Leorio didn't even make the honorable mentions.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry. He's in the shafted pool with Kurobara, but he's not as cool as Kurobara, so he
Yeah,
didn't make it.
Kuwabara is cool.
Um,
The Oreo is
basically,
not that cool.
You talking?
obviously, Hunter x Hunter has a bunch of things going on and a bunch of messages throughout the series, but in the Chimera Ant and Election arc, especially, there's this whole theme of power, like how to use power, like the ethics of using power, like the pragmatic uses of power, and basically him and Meruem, Pastor and Meruem, serve like two different purposes. And it's funny they're back to back. Meruem is like a critic. I'm not going to talk about Meruem too much. TLDR, Meruem is a criticism of how people use power, and he's Togashi's interpretation of how power should be used, which is funny because he's a villain. And Pariston is an example of how power shouldn't be used, because he's the villain of the arc, obviously, and he's in a position to basically control kind of the world, because hunters can pretty much control the world if they really felt like it. And for the entire arc, he just kind of fucks around, like he's just trolling everybody. Like even Jing even says he doesn't really want to win the election too much. He just wants to play around.
Let me be
He's
very
kind of
clear.
he,
My name is
he,
Pariston Hill.
he's like Light if Light just didn't give a shit about anything. Sort of, kind of.
Bro, Light is like top 5. I'm already calling it right now. I know
Probably.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
He's gonna take me out, my dude.
We'll
He's gonna
see. We'll see.
Oh, actually,
And next,
so what is like? What do you mean by power? Is it like political power, or just like kind of?
just different kinds of power, like literal power, just like big, strong aura power, a social
Big
power,
number.
political power. Yeah, just the idea of power in general. Because Meruem has all three, right? He has
scouter.
political power. He's the king of the Chimera Ants. He has social power because he's in a position to pretty much take over the world and dictate the fate of the human species. And he has literal power because he's the strongest character in the series to date. So, and I'll talk about him more later. He's
when we get to
cannot
top
read
10.
from them.
Cough.
Basically, like the rise.
Yeah, sure.
Let Maka move on.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah, basically the rising. Anyway,
So
next.
we still got a lot to cover, so we shouldn't really cover the honorable mentions that much.
Yeah. Probably should
Yeah.
like stop.
Shia Poo.
Oh, Iron is tilted.
Everybody's least favorite character, even though he's probably the second best written character in the arc.
Yeah, for
But
real.
it's okay.
I mean, I liked him.
He's
He
written
was-
to be hated in
Yeah.
IMO.
You love to
Yeah.
hate him, and that's good. Like I think that's a good thing.
He's like, yeah, he's in a way he's kind of the main antagonist in the arc because his whole psychology is on outwardly he looks like he's loyal to Meruem, right? He does pretty much everything Meruem says. He's the most polite to him, but he's not loyal to the person Meruem. He's loyal to the idea of like the perfect
okay.
king.
He is
What's up?
a what is it? He is a perpetuate of the status quo. He wants things to be the way they should be, instead of like how Meruem like goes off track towards.
Right. So, and because of that, he does everything in his power to mold Meruem into like this perfect king that he has in his head, even to the point where he's like contemplating lying to him, which is something that, of course, you're a royal guard, you're supposed to be loyal, you're never supposed to do, and it's like tearing him apart inside right before Meruem remembers Komuga and he's talking to Wolf. So, he's cool. I wish I could talk about him more, but get out of here. You didn't make
You
the
gotta
list.
keep
buddy.
going.
Get out of here. You fuckhead.
Who's next? Next. Oh no, next. I'm sorry,
scared.
Flair.
Oh, this head ass!
Flair.
Yo, hold on. Wait a minute. Explain yourself.
Listen,
Stop right there,
listen.
criminal
Okay,
scum.
I might
How
have
could
to
you-
rewatch the series. Everybody likes this dude.
How could you? say
How
that?
could you not like that?
He's,
Look at that.
How could you not like that?
Because
Look, I appreciate. the
Oh, my
showing,
blood
but
sugar. Oh, my blood
I
sugar.
am-
What?
I appreciate the showing as much as everybody else. Okay, not as much as everybody else, but look, he's good. I might need to rewatch the series, but I don't know. I
I
find
think
him. I
Flair's
can't believe
gonna
I'm saying
make
this
you
about
watch the
anything.
series at this point.
The problem with a lot of Hunter x Hunter
About-
characters is that they're not fully realized.
Yeah, which is crazy. As good as the series and the characters are, that's crazy to say, but it's true.
The
Seething
freaking
anger.
hiatus.
Hiatus.
Just absolute utter
So
disappointment.
look, his I think the most interesting thing about Hisoka is sorry, his psychology is basically his life goal is fun. So like for most people, right, especially anime characters, because they're all like larger than life and stuff, they have this goal, they have this thing they set out to do in life, and that's what drives them forward. And quote unquote fun is like this side thing. Like if you get burned out, even in real life, if you're like a writer or something, you do your job, you go. Sometimes you need a break and you go have fun on the side and you go like take a little break or something and then you come back recharged. Fun isn't your end all be all. It's not what you strive for. Hisoka's literal purpose is to have fun.
So
Everything he does, yeah,
Which
everything he
is
does
actually
is
goes
like
very well with the clown aesthetic that he has.
fittingly,
Going on.
he is
Right.
much like the Joker. Like he's
literally.
his goal is something that isn't very well defined, I think.
And it's always like
So-
it's ever changing, right? So even he says himself, like he's super fickle. You never really know exactly what he's gonna do. One day he's damn near trying to kill Gon, and the next he's helping him in a dodgeball match versus Razor. So you never really predict this guy. But
Also, like how he has a really simple power, but he uses it very creatively.
it has both the properties of rubber and gum. I'm not sure why it wasn't explained more in the series, but yeah, that's what it does.
It's all about how you use it.
Continue.
So it's basically JoJo.
He's so mad. Anyway, oh god. Oh no, I
Who's
X. I'm
next?
sorry.
Oh no! What?
Look,
Uh-oh.
look. Oops.
Ah!
I didn't even do it right. Look,
Quaroff.
Krollo's. Anyway, there he is. Yeah.
YOLO.
Oh, that is a nice picture.
That looks
Yeah,
like a
there's
5-star
another one of
Blu-ray.
those things. All right. Like, he's just another one of those things. I might have to rewatch the series, but personally, the way his character was portrayed, it never really clicked with me. I had to rewatch like a lot of the Phantom Troop just to get him, because the whole idea of Krollo is like he's kind of not really a sociopath, but actually yeah, kind of a sociopath.
Well,
But he's
I mean,
trying
yeah.
to find his own, yeah, pretty much. He's trying to find his own humanity and like find out who he is, and the only way he has of expressing himself is through the Phantom Troop. Like
You have
his whole. Go ahead.
You watched that Alexander video, right?
I've seen almost every Alexander video. That channel is amazing.
Yeah, it's like he just kind of like lives through them. So
Right.
the whole legs of the spider analogy is like especially poignant on him because like if he loses one member, it's literally like he has lost something like very near and dear to him.
Right. To the point where he straight up cries when Uvugen's dying because he feels like a part of him literally left this world.
And then like if in the manga, if you saw his face like when they were on the boat, I haven't read like most of it, but I know like when they get on the boat and you see Krollo, he literally just looks like he is freaking like hit this despair. And I think it's actually like, has everyone read the manga or like everybody who's kept up with Hunter x Hunter?
I think it's just us two. It's just us two.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like
It's okay.
yeah, I was gonna like try to go into that more, but I don't want to say anything else.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's
Okay,
just
we
like the
guess we got it.
circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, I get you. We kind of got us. How long, Fleur? How long has it been?
Let me check.
You know,
Let me check.
like a half hour already.
I think it's been a half hour.
Maybe 20
like
minutes.
20 minutes.
19 minutes actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
not too bad. I'm gonna go through the honorable mentions a bit faster,
Yeah.
so we can get to the meat and potatoes of this. Anyway, next one. Hate having to delete these every time. I didn't realize it was gonna be this annoying.
Well, if you not want to do that, I can.
Please do. Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, next one. Next one, if I can spell his name right.
Can we get a third series? Never mind.
No, more Hunter x Hunter.
Going gone.
Our adorable little psychopath. There he is. Hold on, not this.
Oh, he's just a
picture.
dumb kid.
There we go.
He's a dumb
Just a
kid
what?
until Chimera Ant arc.
Yeah. So, oh fuck, I want to talk about Gon too. Okay, real quick, I think Gon is a really clever protagonist. Something I've never heard anybody else bring up is the Hunter world kind of sucks. Like at least from the perspective we're given, everybody is super selfish. So if the protagonist of the series was like a normal shonen protagonist being like, I want to change the world, I want to be super good to everybody, like, and that no, that doesn't work in Hunter x Hunter because you're gonna get screwed over. And you can't make him an adult because if you make him an adult in that world, he's gonna like give in to that super cynical attitude that the Hunter organization has, and it's gonna be kind of like they're gonna have kind of a boring dynamic with the rest of the characters. So instead, you go the opposite way and you make him a kid. Because if he's a kid, kids usually they don't have like as developed of a sense of morality. They're just kind of self-interested, which is what Gon is. So it makes his interaction with like everybody in the series more interesting.
A lot of
And
pre-conventional morality.
it makes his yeah yeah it makes his mentality make sense basically. Okay, Flair, can you
Yes, sir.
ditch him?
Also because like I think picking a kid protagonist, I think this is why this is done a lot. Is just because it's a good way to introduce viewer to the world.
Also because they ask a lot of questions, so there's an excuse for exposition.
Pretty much.
Anyway, there's the Togashi graveyard. All the rest of the Togashi characters are, are in the top 39.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Anyway, next up, oh god. Next up
Ah, this fucking guy.
so
Okay, and I'm guessing that freaking
Listen.
Sakura didn't make the list.
Of course not. What?
I
Hell no.
Watch
That
her
is
be in the
so-
top 37.
Top
And
so
then,
10.
if we
what?
have time, after this is over, I'm going to go into the negative numbers, and we're gonna
Oh
shit
my
talk some characters.
God.
And one of them is going to be Sakura. We're gonna have some
Wait,
fun.
I gotta
Anyway.
stick around. In
Is
here.
Orihime in there as well?
Or he may. Oh, Lord.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Anyway, I like Sasuke. I don't like him in part one, especially I think the point where I started disliking Sasuke was during the Gaara fight, where he straight up took everything Lee had and just started
Yep.
messing up Gaara by using copy paste. But I think part two Sasuke is way better,
Pour
which
one
is
out
weird
for my
because I
boy
think
Now
Rock
I
Lee,
have
dude.
your power.
yeah,
Go
I think part two
Sharingan.
Sasuke is way more interesting. Yeah, which is weird because most people like part one Sasuke and dislike part two Sasuke. So I don't know. Maybe
I didn't like part one Sasuke that much. It was kind of like a
I don't.
typical. It was kind of like just the typical edge lord character.
He's a corny
Copy
Kurapika.
paste Curry Pika. Yep.
He's a corny Kurapika. That's all he is. And part two is better. His psychology in part two is actually really interesting. Anyway, a better character than Sasuke. I think we can all agree about this.
Hell
there he is.
yeah,
Let's
brother.
There he is.
Go.
Hell yeah,
Let's-
brother.
Man, I keep mistyping the stupid.
Hang on.
Thanks.
Do your thing. Do the base one first. Shikamaru. There you go. Nara.
There he is.
Yes.
I
100%.
don't. Yeah.
Absolute legend.
Everybody likes him. I think everybody knows who he is. I don't have to say much. His fight in part two may be better than his fight versus Tamari. I don't know. They're both amazing. He's a great strategist, great dude, very relatable because I am also lazy.
Mood.
Fair.
But also relatively smart.
God, he was so broken in
I
part one.
think.
He was his forehead deserves to be that big.
So-
It deserves
oh, God,
to be bigger.
I didn't even notice that. Oh my God.
What are
Yeah,
the
they
veins
need
on it? I
to-
want to see him straining that thonk.
They need to remove
Anyway, next up.
Sakura's forehead because her forehead level is like actually 3 head level.
His six
More
head.
like 2 head.
Anyway, next, this is a part two character. I think I think only Flair and I know who he is, probably. Wait, no, he showed up in part one. I'm stupid. It's Hashirama.
Oh, yeah.
He showed up in part one.
Hashimara,
You'll know. It's the
Hashira,
Hashimara.
oh my god. Oh my god.
brother.
This dude.
There
It's
he
the
is.
guy that Orochimaru.
Oh,
The
yeah.
first Hokage.
The very first Hokage. One
Comes
of the
back
most
again.
broken characters in any series I've ever seen.
Yes,
like relative
sir.
to the rest of
Would
the series.
release is a broken ability.
ridiculous. Like this guy in general is ridiculous. It's to the point where even like in part 2, people are farming his cells because his cells give you like Wolverine levels of regeneration.
What in the god?
Yes, sir.
Just his cells. Is it stupid?
How do they do that?
Someone gets literally crushed in half. I'm not gonna spoil who it is. We'll talk about him later.
Keck.
He uses Hashiwama cells to come back.
You thought
this-
you'd seen the last of me. didn't you?
This
what?
dude in part 2 implants Hashirama cells into his arm, and he's able to use literally 10 Sharingan at once. Don't ask, don't
Oh,
ask,
I
don't
know
ask.
who that is.
Just know that's a thing.
Oh,
What
they're
else?
So
Hash-
dumb.
And this is just his cells. This isn't even Hashirama himself. At one point,
Yeah.
he collected like every single tailed beast, and because he wanted world peace, so he removed all the superpowers from the world, all the nukes, which are basically the tailed beasts, right? And he's like, people are going to fear me if I have all the power in the world. Here, I'm going to distribute all these nukes to the rest of the world for peace. It wasn't
That
the
does-
best idea, but I think it was
Yeah, I
a
was
really
about to
huge
say that doesn't
flex.
sound like a good idea at all.
You kind of see
This will
what the
backfire.
result of that was. Anyway, yeah, he's cool.
Hashirama at one
But he
point
didn't make the list, I'm sorry.
in his prime was able to go toe to toe and probably beat Madara
He was fighting Madara and the Nine Tails at the same time,
at the
and he
same
won.
time. And
And he
Madara is
won.
the same guy who took on like thousands of shinobi at once in the Great Shinobi Alliance War in part 2.
Cool. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. Speaking of Madara,
Oh shit, Madara didn't make top? That's crazy.
Madara didn't make the list, dude. There's a bunch of people in this list. Madara's
give me 1
broken. Okay. Well, you're not stopping the stream, right?
What's up?
So he's gone now. It's okay.
That was fast. He probably left the
TL,
stream
yeah,
on.
I can't talk.
It's just a
Yeah.
recording.
I'm not gonna talk about him for long, but
Yeah, I think so.
TLDR, the first thing he does when he shows up is he drops a meteor on
Yeah.
basically
Just
the
what
allied
you're gonna do,
forces of Naruto.
Take each flyer, go to
And
each
then they
building
stop
where
the
mailboxes
meteor,
are, and just
and
put
then he
them
summons
right
a second
on top of the
meteor on
mailbox.
top of the first one.
Oh,
Another
Give it
the-
one.
Yeah, that's all you need to
Tape
know.
them
You
to
can
the wall
Google the
above the
scene later
mailbox.
if you want, but yeah, he's cool.
Bigger than
He's a
Wayne.
huge,
Yep, no problem.
he's a huge flexer.
Okay.
Flex
We're almost
master.
done. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had to
Yeah,
take a face
He already
Yep.
did Madara.
Okay.
Madara.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, we're done with Madara.
Madara's broken.
Anyway, yeah, Naruto's ridiculous. Anyway, we're done with Naruto. I'm gonna copy paste this dude's name because I'm not spelling it. All right, now we can freaking talk about JoJo. Here we go.
Yes.
Oi, Josuke!
Oi!
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There he is. There he.
I'm glad he's at
prob-
least up here. He deserves it.
He's a good
one
Joker.
of the best characters in this series.
Yeah, he is
probably.
insane. He's so cool.
Su- Super entertaining. One of the best stands. One of the worst stand users I've
Users-
ever seen.
This fucking idiot.
It's the best
He's
tasting
cool.
water I've
He's
ever
just- he's-
tasted.
Just tasting water.
Oh my god.
But
Anyway, yeah,
it helps. It helps set the idea for a lot of JoJo, like where there's really good, there's like really crappy abilities, but the user makes it really good. And then this is vice versa, where the stand ability is just held back by the users.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll be
he
talking about
was-
some good stand users later on. Don't worry.
Oh boy, I can't wait. I know who he's going to talk about.
Not
Oh,
Hell
Rohan.
yeah, brother. Rohan could have
Hell
ended
yeah,
every single
brother.
part. Anyway, that's the only JoJo character in the honorable mentions. Lol. Two more characters in honorable mentions, and we'll get to the good stuff. Anyway, Zamasu.
Nice.
Let's
I think the
go.
last one. Oh,
I'll take it,
yeah,
I'll take it.
sorry, X.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
He's cool. I
Should
don't
a
know,
gardener not pluck the weeds?
Ball kind of sucks. I don't know what to say. Like low key.
Oh, he's getting, he's
There he
fucked
is
up
getting
here.
removed
That-
from the
Be honest,
actual
like-
tier list.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good-ish. He's really good for Dragon Ball, but like in the grand scheme of things,
He's
he's
got Mr.
Yeah, I know,
Crocker
I know.
elf ears.
he's just good.
You know, they tried, and I can respect that. In theory, he could have been a really good character, but you know, Dragon Ball, not
Yeah.
not the
He
best
had-
medium for
yeah.
this kind of stuff.
Zamasu did nothing wrong.
Like I think he could have been like a good character to illustrate what's wrong with how the gods handle, like how all the
Everything.
Kaioshins and all that handle things. But
Mhm.
nothing really came.
All right, next.
Yeah. But yeah, execution kind of fell flat. Anyway, speaking of Dragon Ball, we're gonna finish off the list with City.
Hey.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry, I pissed off everybody.
It's fair. Honestly, though. Oh,
So that means Majin Buu didn't make it.
Dude, don't even joke about that. Oh my god, what a terrible character.
Shut up!
dude,
So,
it is. I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching all of this. I Boo's awful. Don't at me.
oh no.
At.
Two ats.
At in voice chat.
Oh, yeah,
So
back to
yeah,
Cell.
Cell's cool.
Wait.
I've touched
Ah!
yeah, I've touched on this before, but like the idea of Cell, I kinda like it too. Is like up until he's perfect, like imperfect and semi-perfect Cell, he exploits the weaknesses in the Z fighters. And then once he becomes perfect, he takes on those weaknesses and those weaknesses end up being why he loses. But I think that was pretty
Yeah.
well done.
Like he exploits the.
Yeah.
I just prefer
Perfect
All
there.
Vegeta.
Imperfect Cell was like, I think peak Cell just because he was really unique as a villain because he was kind of that creeper factor going for him. And
drinks people.
What does he have the Chad jawline of Perfect Cell? I think
oh
not.
no, he
In
doesn't.
second form does though.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the honorable mentions. Put an F in the
Alright.
chat for all the dudes that should have made the list but didn't because of the character limit. Thank you, X. Very cool.
That one's
Yeah.
out. That one goes out to my boy
Anyway.
Prolo.
Everybody press Alt plus F4.
Okay.
Don't do that.
No.
You don't gotta tell me twice, bro!
Right. Did he
What?
actually?
No, he didn't. Memers, bunch of memers, bunch of actual memers.
All right, continuing.
You're asking for it, dude.
Anyway, onto the actual list, and I actually separated this into tiers. We're gonna start with B tier.
Ooh.
B.
Hopefully, I don't mess up any of the names. This first name is probably the hardest to pronounce, so bear with
I
me.
deleted it. Jerk.
Paul.
That was
Paul?
not what I. Carl!
Ah, Paul from Llamas with Hats. How could I forget this character?
Carl, we're supposed to be on
Can someone get
vacation.
Paul, please? Can someone please
Hi,
get
I'm
Paul?
Paul.
Someone please, where is he?
That's fine. No, that's fine. I got it.
Let's go find Paul.
Why are you going backwards?
Oh my god.
Going backwards is not what you want to do in
Forward,
this
go
situation.
forward.
Oh my god,
Go
guys.
for it, go.
Holy
PS4 is the back of the alphabet.
Congratulations! You broke the fucking bot!
Oh my god, dude.
Guys, stop spelling it. Just stop spelling.
alright.
Oh my god.
Relax. Chill.
Oh,
It was
Thank
that
you,
easy.
Thank you. Yes. It was that
Get this
easy.
shit.
So yeah,
Get this shit.
Pokemon kind of sucks too. I think Paul's one of the few really well-written characters. Basically, he has this whole thing where he saw his brother Reggie get bodied by Brandon, and Reggie's super like compassionate to his Pokemon and stuff. So Paul's like, compassion sucks. I'm gonna be a
maybe I oughta
competitive
a
player.
piece of shit.
And
And
yeah,
so he
that's a growth.
and so he climbs the ladder.
Come, Brago.
So
Generation
it's
4
super
OU was never
oversimplification,
the
but-
same.
That's like a super oversimplification, but that's basically how he works. And I don't know. Also, nostalgia factor. That's the amazing
Probably.
reason why he made this list.
And then
I
he's
mean, I
also
can say I always thought he was kind of interesting for a rival.
he's a cool contrast because Ash is all about that compassion, but then you have Paul who's
Yeah.
literally the exact opposite.
Paul is literally
also-
just at this point
He
budget
also
Brago.
finally does he finally continues the jackass rival trend that they dropped after Gold and
Gary.
Silver.
Honestly.
They were still like the best rival though. Well, besides N. I don't know if you can consider N a rival though.
Nah, probably not.
But yeah, good character.
Oh wait, that's not 39. That's 36. I apologize. What am I doing?
You
I don't know
flip
why I
the
put
9
36.
right side
Yeah.
up.
Anyway, number 35 is a JoJo's character. Anyone guess? Can anyone guess?
I don't know, like
Jotaro.
how you are
Jotaro.
there.
Is it Jotaro?
Bro, don't even joke about Jotaro. Holy fucking shit.
Jotaro. Can I have my
No,
cardboard stick out?
it's gonna be.
How many JoJo characters are on a list first?
It's 3 for every series.
Okay, so Dio.
Well, not every series, but yeah, no, not Dio.
Joseph.
Josuke.
Josuke.
Oh,
Oh my god.
My name is Yoshikage Kira.
So I'm gonna give more credit to David, but oh my god, get this out of here.
David Bowie.
His ugly face. I'm gonna give more credit to David Productions than Araki on this because the adaptation for Kira was amazing. Like for up until like his proper introduction episode, part 4 was like the super laid back part. And then the direction for his debut episode was really good. Like the music was on point, the transitions were on point, like the shaky camera whenever he was like sort of unsettled in his mind, just everything kind of like let you know, okay, this is serious now. It is. I know I kind of connect that with Kira. Also, his stand usage is pretty good.
And all he wants to do is live a quiet life.
If you actually go back and watch some of the episodes before Kira shows up, you can actually see him in the
see
background.
him doing his things.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I think that kind of like hammers in.
I only
like,
noticed because I knew who Kira was.
Why his eyebrows different color than the 2 colors on his head? Yu-Gi-Oh character looking as. Get him out my
Hey,
face.
yeah,
Pucci,
like-
Enrico Pucci. There, that's all I'm gonna say for Yu-Gi-Oh.
What?
Thank you, Flair. Yeah, Kira's cool. Anyway, next up, the next anime is One Punch Man.
That's Genos.
Genos. Or is it Tatsumaki?
Genos, no, they didn't make the list.
Genos didn't make the list.
What?
It's just watch it
Nope.
just be Saitama.
Nope. This is
Oh,
good.
Moomin Rider! Yeah.
I guess like I can respect that.
Does anyone remember Moomin Rider?
Yeah, I remember
Alright,
that
everyone
thing.
remembers
I
him.
forget
Hello?
Moomin Rider.
This guy. Wait, what did Flair say? No.
No. Yes. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
He does remember
Yeah, basically
Moomin Rider.
X. Do you remember Moomin Rider?
Of course, I remember the scene with the
I
fish
remember,
king.
dude, this guy's great.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, basically, One Punch Man is really good. I'm gonna talk about it more later because we're not done with One Punch Man. But TLDR, there's the theme running to one of
What?
the pragmatic heroism for
Cut out.
world heroism because most of the Oh,
You
wait,
cut out.
what's the last thing you heard?
Just
Hang on.
it's about the theme.
Hello.
Something
Hello.
about the themes.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, there's this thing going through One Punch Man about like moral heroism versus pragmatic heroism. Because if you pay attention, a lot of the heroes are kind of dicks.
Dicks that just care about padding their stats.
They're just
Yeah,
doing
pretty
it
much,
for the
like-
job, basically.
Yeah. Even the hero association is kind of messed up because the S class gets super overfunded and then everybody else gets super shafted. And Moomin Rider is the exact opposite of that.
He's
he has,
doing
like,
this
no
just
powers.
for justice.
Yeah, he's like even has his little shonen moment versus Deep Sea King, but this isn't a shonen, so he just gets body anyway.
Lol.
Oh.
I don't know, he's really cool. I like the guy. I like him. He's one of the people on this list I like as a person and as a character. Anyway, speaking of, another character I like as a person and as a character.
Well, like, can you tell the anime first and then we try to guess it?
Oh yeah, sure, let's do that. Anyway, the next anime is JoJo again.
Yeah.
Person and a character, so
Okay, is it Dio this time?
No.
it's gotta be
Kakyoin!
Oi! Kakyoin!
No, I think this is Joseph.
No, if he likes it, but Joseph's a wife cheater.
Alright. Oh, y'all are gonna be kind of
Polnareff?
no. You're gonna be mad you didn't get this. Mr.
Oh,
yeah, what the fuck?
Bucciarati.
Yeah, this guy is the best
Fucking
Italian mom.
Bucciarati.
This guy's the
Look,
best
okay.
Italian.
I thought he'd be hot.
Okay, everybody watches Melee, right?
Yeah.
You know how Axe just rolls up and beats your ass with Pikachu, this mid-tier ass character?
Yeah.
That's him.
That's literally Bucciarati. You have
Mr.
you have
Language.
Yeah, his
what's
his
going
ability
on?
is zippers.
You, you have
Zippers.
Giorno,
Ooh.
And
who
yet
can
he
make
beats your
pretty much
ass and
anything
licks your
that lives.
face.
You have Purple Haze, which is just the coronavirus on steroids. You have who else do you have? You have
Giorno.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, which is a literal
Aerosmith.
fucking battalion.
I've got a gun.
And then you have this dude, and his just ability is zippers, and he's the best stand user in the entire series, probably.
And there's Moody Blues. Aw.
Moody
Fuck
Blues.
you.
We don't.
Abakio.
That stand sucks. We don't talk about Moody Blues.
Yes, we do. We talk about Moody Blues.
no, we
I
don't.
stan
It's
Abakio.
very good. It's very good utility stand.
It is, and it can
It's
still.
not a fighter.
yeah,
he might not be a fighter,
it's
but he's
situational as
very
hell.
useful.
It's like a Hermit Purple, except it's better.
Yeah, he's the Joseph of the part. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I like Bucciarati until the Sekko fight. There's this, I've talked about this before, but there's this specific part where he's fighting Sekko, and he comes down on a light post. Seiko takes the light post and tries to stab Bucciarati. Bucciarati zips open the light post to dodge the light post. Then Seiko backs away, right? And then he has Sticky Fingers unzip the light post halfway down again. He tosses the unzipped light post at Seiko. Seiko dodges it, and then Sticky Fingers zips the light post back up to try and cut Seiko's head off. I have never seen anything so big brained in this series. Besides that, that was amazing. Literally, just for that.
Yeah,
he should be
Bucciarati is insanely good.
Even
insane.
Seiko's like, oh my god, this guy is super smart. What the heck?
And he's a good person. He's trying to get drugs off the streets.
Also, he was literally dying during that fight, and he still almost won.
He was dead.
He was already dead.
He was actually dead. He's been a spirit since he died.
He got Lazarus freaking Giorno.
Yeah, he's amazing. Also,
Crazy.
he's
Let's go, Bucciarati.
He stayed alive to help everyone.
Person.
Well, stayed dead, I guess.
Yeah, he's a good person. I like him. Anyway, next up,
Probably my
this is going
favorite
faster
Joe,
than
bro,
expected.
honestly.
Nice.
He's a good
Yeah,
Joe
easy.
bro.
Easy. I flipped between him and Okuyasu a little bit while I was making the list, but nah, Bucciarati.
No,
he
Bucciarati
got
is
it.
insanely better. Just
He's
in
got
like every league.
He got it. Anyway, next up, an anime nobody except me has seen.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna
post it. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bothering with guessing because nobody
Just
knows
post.
this. Is Adam Blade from Needless?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Needless. That's right.
Never
I
heard
haven't
of
watched
Needless.
one
This
yet.
guy. So listen, I'm gonna explain what he's about. Listen very carefully to
Mr.
the words
Priest.
I use.
I'm
Do
not gonna like this.
look,
I'm not gonna like this
don't-
at all.
He's a priest.
Yes.
Just bear with me, okay?
Yes.
He's
I'm
a
listening.
pedophile. He's a
Nigga,
pedophile.
what?
He's listen.
Bro, you like Hisoka.
in the sense that he's not turned on by legit kids. He's just turned on by stocky figures. Yeah, that's the word we'll use. However, he's not a child predator. He doesn't ever act on it. It's just a gag. He's really funny. I swear.
What even is needless? What is
Moving
it about?
on.
Don't. What? Wait,
31,
wait,
please.
but-
I'm just gonna say.
Oh, he said
Fire-
moving on. No, shut up. Look, he's
Fire,
funny.
Fire, you like Hisoka, so you don't really have that much room to talk.
Okay, but Hisoka has cool powers.
Wow. Okay, I didn't even talk about this. That's crazy. TLDR, I'm empowered. I said empowered. Needless is kind of like empowered, actually. It's kind of weird. Everybody has something called a fragment, which is a fragment of this original primordial energy that was in the world or whatever, and it gave a bunch of people different powers. So Adam's power, or fragment, is to memorize other people's powers. So he's just kind of this broken protagonist that goes throughout the series, copying people's powers and using them better than the original.
Mega Man to everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Now
just,
I
he's-
have your power.
It's pretty interesting. Also, he's really funny. I swear to God. Anyway,
So,
moving
Are you
on.
trying to recommend this to us, or
No, it's not even that good. It's just really
Next.
funny. I watched it a while ago. I think I watched it after I finished.
I remember
Kirito.
when you were watching it. It was
Pretty good.
a very long time ago.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The next anime is Pokemon. Go
Probably
on.
N.
And before he posts Cynthia.
No,
I don't know,
anime
does it
N
count
sucks.
game characters?
Game N is way better.
Yeah, of course.
From the anime?
Yeah, anime.
Probably Gen 4 character.
He's been around for a very.
Brock, it's
Yeah,
Brock.
no,
It's gotta be Brock.
There you go. It's Brock.
Hey.
It's
Drying
Brock,
pan,
yeah.
my
No,
No,
it's
wow.
gotta be here.
Other
Yeah.
way.
It's probably here.
Stop going back. Why are you
Oh.
pressing the back button?
Because it's probably.
Oh yeah. Ah!
Oh wait, how can I forget that?
Yes.
Ah! He literally just teleports his shirt off.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna find drying pan real quick. Beautiful.
Surely it's on here.
You can go on with your Brock analysis.
I'm
There
looking
we
this
go.
up. Here
We
we
got
go.
it. We got it, boy.
Anyway, yeah, Brock's cool. This is a complete nostalgia pick, by the way. Like I said, Pokemon is kind of crap. Like
Dude,
past
he's
the
like
surface level,
legitimately the.
he's just great. He's
He's
just
got
great.
his-
I don't know.
Hey,
I was
he's a
making the
total bro.
list, and I couldn't bring myself to put Brock lower. That just kind of happened.
Like he's an
Yeah.
essential for the group. I get it. He's
there's-
a very he has a good amount of knowledge of Pokemon health and so forth. He's also the only one that knows how to cook for the squad, so
Until you
Kinda
know,
sad.
silent.
he's kind of an essential.
Oh,
He's just kind of the
Fucking
everyman.
silent. Is he
Fuck
bottom
Silent.
10? Is he at least is silent bottom 10 with Iris?
Yeah.
Look, can
Yeah.
we just not talk about the black and white anime, please?
It was
I don't want to think about
Bro,
it.
listen, it was good in the sub.
Brock hard.
Oh, no,
Brock
it wasn't.
slide.
I don't care.
Next.
It wasn't good at all.
The next, it was bad. Anyway, the next anime is Dragon Ball. Going back to DB.
Frieza.
Frieza.
I don't think anyone's gonna guess this. Frieza's not on the list.
Is it what?
Frieza's not on the list.
How could you not put Frieza on the
I actually
list?
don't.
Is
I actually don't
better
like
not be
Frieza.
Jiren.
It's
It's
El
Not
Hermano.
Jiren. It's not Jiren.
It's El Hermano.
Topo.
Don't top.
Let's just see what it is.
Is it
They're
Beerus?
they're on the list for a weird reason, but you'll kind of get it once you see it.
There? Oh,
Is
I
it
think he's
Kale
trying to
and
keep it-
Kafla?
I think he's just trying to keep it a secret.
whatever, just
Yeah,
go.
Okay,
Do it.
so
Mr. Satan.
this is weird. I get this is weird.
Oh, yeah, you've already kind of explained why.
I mean,
Yeah, so
she pretty much gets Goku at this point.
She's kind of like the Brock of Dragon Ball, almost.
Yeah.
She's very essential. She builds literally
so-
everything. Hey, I need a time machine, Bulma. You got it, Chief. Hey, I need a
I don't-
thing to blow up the androids. You got it.
I don't get why Toriyama was so good at this, because like Dragon Ball is kind of not the best overall, but no one has been a better Bulma than Bulma since. Like I've never seen another shonen that has a character that doesn't fight be so important. Like she's literally more important than Vegeta. Pretty much.
What?
Damn.
Dragon Ball doesn't start without the Dragon Raider. Like Goku literally can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
They-
she kind of kickstarted the whole
Yeah.
series, really, just
Yeah.
because she ran into
They don't
Goku.
they don't get to Namek without Bulma. They don't get the time machine without Bulma. They don't get the time machine again without Bulma in Super. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, wow. Actually, never thought of it. that way.
Also, capsules, Capsule
it's-
Corp.
Yeah, just Capsule Corp in general. Bulma's broken. It's, a character that doesn't
Power-
fight in Dragon Ball is broken.
Power of 5 head.
5-head. Oh yeah. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the
Also,
5-head
Mother of
characters.
Trunks. Mother of Trunks.
Also, she tamed Vegeta. Like I don't
Yeah,
know what to
Yeah,
tell
the fact that
man.
you can
Like,
tame Vegeta, that's enough to like.
I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah, you got it.
Bulma's crazy.
Dude, she fucked Vegeta. That's
She's
gotta
cool.
say something.
She's freaky.
Moving on.
Poor Yamcha.
Next anime is Tengen Toppo Gurren Lagann.
That's
Alright,
Kamina.
well,
Kamina,
Simon.
There you go.
Simone.
Kamina must be up there more than.
Kamin is way higher. Kamin is not 29. Are you kidding me?
He
Simon.
gets.
This dude, please.
I don't like him for the first part of this. He's such a, but
Yeah.
he grows as a character. But it's all thanks to Kamina.
Yeah, I like him. Literally, most of the reason I like Simon is because he grows from like the kid into Kamina.
Yeah,
And
effectively.
that just tell you how good Kamina is. I know you haven't watched Gurren Lagann. I'm sorry.
X, you gotta watch it, my dude.
Well, it's like 23 episodes. It's pretty good. I would recommend this one. I wouldn't recommend Leave Listening. Gurren Lagann is really freaking good.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
Gurren
recommend
Lagann
Gurren
is like
Lagann.
one of like like I feel like it's a necessity.
I feel it's
watch.
an essential.
Alright, I'll give it a
Oh.
try
Yeah,
sometime.
it's pretty good.
I'll watch it with you.
Anyway, 28. I didn't even talk about Simon much because I'll probably talk about him more when we get to Kamina. But yeah, spoilers. Kamina is on the list. Big freaking surprise.
Mhm.
Next
I
series
know
is what's
he's
the next
very
series?
popular.
The what?
Oh, well, only two of us have seen the series, so I'm not even gonna bother. The next series is Steins Gate, newest edition.
It's
The newest
Hoi
edition filler.
Pyoma.
Hell yeah, brother. Can I spell it right? This guy. Oh my, I fucked it up. I fucked it up. I fucked it up. I fucked
This
it
guy
up.
is so good. Oh lordy.
Love this guy.
Love
Super
him.
cool protagonist. He is
Super
really
fucking
funny.
Super fucking funny. But when shit
And
goes down, like he can be serious when he has to be.
on top of the fact that he's like really entertaining just in general, like the way like if I don't know how much you guys know about Steins Gate, but it's basically a time travel show, and
Oh god.
it's
No,
kind
the
of
time travel
Groundhog Day,
is
but
actually
not.
done very, very well.
Yeah, it's probably the best use of like the best explanation for time travel I've ever seen. Probably.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
100%
So
agree.
that's not even the point, right? The reason he's on the list is because the way the show portrays like his mental state because of time travel is so well done. Because of course,
What
like,
the
Hey,
fuck
who
is
was
that
making
noise?
that noise?
I don't even X. What are you saying?
Who is that?
Who
Is
is
that
what?
you?
The noise. What is that noise?
Is that you?
Oh,
Bruh.
I was messing with something on my laptop.
It
Sorry,
sounded
it's
like
probably
you
really
were
close.
ripping cardboard right
Oh,
into the microphone.
yeah.
Cut it out.
It's probably really close to the mic. Anyway, back to Okabe. The way the show portrays his mental state throughout the show is really cool. Because of course you start off with time traveling, like, oh my god, I can travel through time. Cool, I'm gonna try and save my childhood friend from dying. And then over time, he keeps failing over and over and over and over again, like dozens of times. And he even says it like towards the back half of the series, like eventually I just got desensitized to it, like watching her die. Sometimes he would just
over and over again.
yeah.
I can't avoid it.
It's
It's
like
going to happen.
it's and then I can't even explain too much because it like gets into super spoilery territory. But eventually, he saves the kid, right, his friend, and then he tries to save another friend, and because of time shenanigans, he finds out that his future self is the reason that his other friend died in the past, and then just that mental breakdown is really interesting to watch, and it's just his portrayal is really good. I don't know.
He's very
I
well
can't.
written character. Every character in that show is actually written
Yeah.
extremely well.
Yeah.
I'm expecting
It's a
Kurisu way higher up on the list.
Risu did not make the list.
Excuse the fuck out of me!
Look, I understand. I understand. I will not judge another man's waifu taste, but look, Okabe is so much better written, dude. It's not even close. He kind of carries the show. Well,
But
okay, not
but
true.
his interactions with her are what made the show as good as what it was.
True, but like he's
Like you didn't get the
definitely
same
the
reaction
linchpin.
out of like fucking Dell or
Who?
fucking Daru.
Oh, true, but
You can't get the same reaction out of Daru because Daru is just this fat neckbeard.
Yeah. That's crazy. She almost made honorable mentions, almost. But I decided not to. Sorry, man.
Continue.
F.
Continue.
All right, man. Anyway,
Next.
number 27 is damn. Well, y'all are screwed probably because this series has way too many characters. It's My Hero Academia.
Oh lord. Is it
Jesus.
Bakugo or is it Todoroki?
There you go. It's Todoroki.
Wow. Instant snipe.
This guy right here, Mr. Half and Half.
Oh,
Zuko looking ass.
Literally
Honestly.
budget Zuko. He has daddy. Literally budget Zuko. Also, I'm so sad I couldn't put Avatar in this list because Zuko is my favorite fictional character ever. He would have been
That's
number
rough,
one,
buddy.
free.
it's
That's rough.
almost an
But,
anime.
I mean, it effectively is modeled after anime.
Yeah, well, kind of. Well, yeah, pretty much. It's just anime with other Eastern cultures that aren't all Japanese.
I want to know how he got his hair like that.
Very carefully.
Oh,
Yeah, all the people that haven't watched Academia, his dad is the number 2 hero in the world. His dad's name is Endeavor, but
oh yeah, I've seen him.
Endeavor's kind of
A dick.
Endeavor's kind of a dick. Yeah, like as far as the public knows, he's like this really successful hero, so the public admires him. But Endeavor is super obsessed with becoming the number one. The number one right now, well, not right now, but like when he was coming up as a hero,
All
is
Might.
All Might, and All Might is literally Superman, super broken. No one even has a chance of coming close to him ever, including Endeavor, and that pisses Endeavor off. So he went to kind of extreme lengths to become the number one, to the point where he realized, okay, I am too weak. I cannot do this. However, I am going to genetically engineer one of my children to be the strongest hero, and then they will be stronger than All Might. So he just kind of literally just goes through women trying to breed this perfect kid. And then Todoroki comes along. He's like kind of the result of that.
It's like Michael Jackson and his dad,
Sort,
only like with
sort of,
superpowers.
yeah, only with superpowers, yeah.
So
So
he
he's
literally
kind
just
of like he's like this.
So Endeavor literally
Yeah,
just
he's
like
an
went.
abusive dad and a white Peter. Yeah, he's kind of a dick. And the result of this is Todoroki, obviously he resents his father. It got to the point where like her Todoroki's mom has like PTSD and stuff. So sometimes when she sees Todoroki, she sees Endeavor in Todoroki, and she just kind of like freaks out. That's why she has the scar, by the way. That's why he has the scar, because she dropped boiling water on his face. Yeah, it wasn't fun. Yeah, it wasn't fun. Um, so of course Shoto hates his dad, and it's to the point where his quirk is like half ice, half fire, so he has both. And he's like, I am not going to ever I'm not gonna ever use my fire, because it reminds him of his dad. He never wants to be anything like his dad. So he just for almost the entire intro arc that he shows up, he just doesn't use his fire. And then Mr. Protagonist Deku comes along and is like, wait, it's your power, not his. You don't have to be chained to your dad. You can use the fire. Amazing moment, by the way. Deku used to be a really good character, and then he kind of just shit the bed.
He's
And
a
Yes,
you
simp.
We'll
sir.
talk about it.
Not
You
gonna lie,
still
he's a
don't
simp.
recommend me to watch this.
No, nah.
Don't watch it. If anything, read it.
Yeah.
You just save more time.
I think it's good. I think it's really good, actually. But I don't think you would like it that much. You can try if you want, though.
Hmm.
It has some good stuff, but you kind of have to wade through the yuck to get to the good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I like Todoroki's development, his change from just being completely overly concerned with not being like his dad into becoming his own person. It kind of reminds me of Killua, who is much higher on the list, obviously. But
Obviously.
anyway, enough of
26.
Academia, my bad. 26 is Bleach.
I
Welcome
was
back,
expecting
Bleach.
a Bleach character. This is so hard. Is it Isaac?
Flair, you like this character?
I like this character.
Yeah.
Okiura.
Oh shit, no one else knows Bleach.
Is it Okiura?
No.
Is it the ice guy?
Nah.
He didn't make
One
it.
more
Right?
guess. No, you didn't make it. One more guess.
Yuha.
Nah. Kisuke.
Oh, fucking Kisuke, of course.
Kisuke.
He's insane.
Bro,
He's
just
cool.
adorable
He's
looking ass.
actually broken.
He looks like Kaido, right?
Yeah, he does look like Kaido. The direct inspiration, by the way.
Yeah. So he's kind of a dick. He's a scientist, basically. Smartest character in the series. Aizen admitted that Kisuke is smarter than him. And
Also,
anybody
same
who's
voice
able
actor
to,
as Geen.
yeah, which is weird, right? It's kind of weird, and I never noticed that. Yeah. But yeah, he's like this super cynical guy. Cause long story short, the pretty much god of the world is it's not even like a person. It's this like doesn't really have a conscience. It's just like a sentient massive power that doesn't really do anything. And the only thing it does is exist and keep the entire world in place. So he just kind of became really like jaded and cynical because he realized, oh, we're all being ruled by a literal blob of nothingness, and that kind of sucks. So he's just, I don't know. It's funny though. He's kind of the Sans of the series, if you can like picture that. Yeah, and he's cool.
Give him a blue eye and he's good to go.
Also, he's the one that beat Aizen. Like Ichigo did all the fighting, but Urahara did everything else. So he's cool. I can't really explain much about Urahara because I'd have to go out into Bleach like a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Shout
the,
out to
is
Bleach
that
coming
it?
back in
Yeah, that
2021 though. Hello.
hell yeah! I cannot wait. Finally, 8 years.
How long is
Anyway,
Bleach?
Kizaru.
Long enough with filler.
It's a long series,
Oh,
dude.
piss! Like I wanted to watch it, but
There's an entire arc of filler.
Okay, so
It's
the
like
best arc
it's
in
like
this series is probably Soul Society arc. That's gonna be
the
in the
series
beginning.
3.
That goes up to about I want to say
80-ish.
80-ish episodes.
One of the best anime arcs I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so good.
Super good.
It is so good. My problem with Bleach is that they kind of just keep jerking Ichigo off and like keep adding more to already broken character.
You know the Mazuku ass pull with Yusuke in Chapter Black? That happens
like
that
3
happens
times.
multiple times. Yeah, that keeps happening with Ichigo.
It's like,
and
oh,
it's really
Ichigo
weird.
is actually a Soul Reaper. Actually, he's also a Quincy. Actually, he's also a Visored. Actually,
They just and then he gets like an even more broken Zanpakuto
I have no
that
idea
gets
what any of that
literally
is.
broken when he
okay,
fights
so a
Yuan.
Zanpakuto is basically the sword.
Yeah.
And the sword has a soul of its own, and you have to go and find the soul and, like, I guess tame it or whatever.
But this sounds so fucking stupid out of
What the
context.
hell?
Yeah, it sounds really bad out of context, but, like, you basically have to tame your sword's soul. And then
It's like
you can
empowered.
unlock its
It's
true
like
potential.
empowered if you had to tame your spirits.
And then you unlock its Shikai form. And then
Give me your
eventually
Super
you
Saiyan.
get your duality, which is a Bankai.
Bankai.
Yeah.
I know that word.
Anyway, we can talk more about.
Wait. Before we go on, before we go on, where is Kenpachi on this list?
Yeah. Oh shit, Kenpachi didn't make it.
No!
Uh-oh.
He's cool, but that's like it.
That's it. He's cool.
Hold on, I gotta look at him real
Yeah.
Oh, this wasn't objective.
Okay.
There he is!
This isn't objective, but like I value character writing a lot personally, so he didn't make the list. There are some characters on here that are on
Let
here
me put
for
it
other
this
reasons.
way. Everybody in the Soul Society arc has at least a Shikai and possibly a Bankai. This guy has neither, and he's still stronger than everybody.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, you know how Broly was beating everybody's asses in Dragon Ball Super Broly in base form? That's Kenpachi.
Yeah, he's Vicar. He is Vicar.
Yeah.
Kenpachi's nutty.
He's just beating everybody without extra.
He's nutty, and he literally has handicaps. Puts bells so people can hear him on his hair.
Yeah, he puts bells on the tips of his hair so people hear him approaching. Because otherwise, it would just be a wrap. He would just sneak up on everybody and execute them. Like, it's done.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
Oh god, Kenpachi.
Hold on.
He's cool. But he didn't make it. Also, Kisuke is the last character in B tier. He's at the top of B tier, so now we're going into the A tier. Ramping it up a little bit.
My man said, wait, I have to do rolls.
Oh yeah, rolls, let's go. Right, we get to do rolls on the recording.
Yes, sir! There's so much smoker here because Neon decided to go on a fucking field day.
Wait. What the fuck is what the heck?
The bot freeze?
What happened? Hey, what happened?
What happened?
Try again.
What happened?
What happened?
What? Oh, what, X? Did you finish?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you finished. Oops, sorry. I
What
thought
the
you froze or
fuck,
something.
bro?
What is your problem?
I didn't realize X finished. Let's go.
Fuck.
No speedo. Quick anyway.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
I'll take science, mom.
My
science
turn.
mom.
Yeah, but do you have mom?
Do you have mom?
Have as many moms as I want.
Bro. What are these fucking trap ass characters, dude? What is this? Holy shit, get it away from me. Who's this fodder ass character?
I have no idea.
Probably
A
just that.
fodder.
Bro, you know what this Hito Subachi character looks like? He looks like a Jeremiah.
Yo, Loki.
He looks like a fucking Jeremiah, dude.
Oh my god. Oh
True.
no. Looks like the vagabond art style, sort of.
Alright,
Sounds
we're
like-
back.
Alright. Now then. Let's
A
continue.
tier.
A tier. Okay, 25. This is the only character from this series on the list. It's from Kill la Kill. Hey, y'all know who
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
it's
Sasuke.
Satsuki.
Yeah, no freaking shit.
Of course.
Is
it because of the
I
eyebrows?
didn't misspell her name.
You pigs in human clothing.
Oh, oh boy, there's a lot to say actually. How do I make this concise? So, Kill la Kill in general, basically the entire theme is, well, there's two major themes. One is being yourself, regardless of like societal pressure or whatever, all that
Okay.
shonen jazz. Two is defying fate. If you notice,
You have to
you
fight
see a
those
lot of red
bushy
in the
ass
series.
eyebrows,
Yeah.
though.
There's this thing in the series called life fibers, and it's the source of pretty much everybody's power. Well, everybody with powers anyway. And the life fibers are literally red like threads, like little like red fiber threads, right? And in Japan
Very
and
on the
over in
nose.
Weebland, yeah.
Huh?
I don't know if anybody's ever brought this up, but like in Japan, there's like this cultural thing
I
called
know the
the
red
thread
ribbon
of
of-
fate. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there you go. So like it's pretty much a literal representation of that. And the main character, Ryuko's weapon, is scissors. So she's literally cutting fate, and that's cool, and that's its symbolism and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I never actually knew that.
Satsuki, she's at
Symbolism.
first she's the main antagonist of the series. She's Kill la Kill is so stupid. So Ryuko, main character,
If
she's
it's a
trying to
parody,
find who
it's
killed. Yeah, she's trying to find who killed her father. So she transfers to this school, and pretty much everybody in power, like everybody on the student council, has superpowers, including Satsuki. She's the student council president. See, it says it right there.
Ooh.
And she's the strongest person in the school. So eventually, her and Ryuko fight. They fight a few times. Blah blah blah. However, eventually you find out that Satsuki is working for her mom, who's trying to spread life fibers throughout the entire world and like embed them in everybody's clothing so that she can control the life fibers and then make everybody into her slaves. However, halfway through the series, actually it's a little more than halfway through the series, as it turns out, Satsuki was only pretending to be loyal to her. She stabs her mother literally through the chest, and she has this whole speech about I raised and like built Honoji Academy only to beat you, and she like turns the entire school against her, and it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
I can't go into it too much because Kill la Kill it's weird to explain without sounding
service
And then
completely
at the
fan
ridiculous.
end, you
service.
find out that like I don't know if like I don't know if you're gonna watch Kill la Kill, but
I might.
you might.
Uh,
Alright, I'll leave it. I'll leave it out then. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what you're.
I
Oh
just-
boy.
I just know the characters. Most of them, I think.
Everybody likes
So-
the band chick for some reason.
Well, I do.
I like
No,
the
no,
band
yeah.
chick.
I
Yeah,
don't like the band chick.
she's alright. She's fine. She's fine.
Gotta face
okay,
the
she's
music.
fine.
Playtime's over. Forgot to face the music, kiddo.
Hey,
24 doesn't even
24.
have a
24
character.
is just an
number
omission.
24.
no one. 24 is from Bleach as well.
Again?
This has to be Ichigo.
It's Aizen. Is it Aizen or Ichigo?
Either.
Right? Yuha.
Maddie?
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw?
Yuha.
Oh no, it's Orihime. We tried.
No, this is
Just-
Ulquiorra.
Just for that, I'm just gonna end the spoilers. So look,
Oh,
this
Yoruichi. Yeah, duh.
this is complete bias. This is shame.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Um,
bias
look,
for kitty
look,
titties.
this is
Yes, I get
complete
it. You
bias.
like kitty
I
titties.
wonder why.
Look, listen. Caesar. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on, that's not the cool picture. Where's the cool picture? 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 Where's the cool picture?
Is that the cool picture?
No. There it is. There you go. I was looking for the picture with Shunko. So, oh no, I have to talk about Soul Society spoilers.
We live
Okay,
in a
it's okay.
soul
It's okay.
society.
It's okay. This one is
know.
kind of minor. It doesn't have big like impact on the plot or anything. So, basically, in Soul Society, she well, first of all, like at the start of the series, she was like exiled. Well, not at the start, but like a few hundred years before the series started, right? So she's like yeah, not too long. Soul Reapers live like forever, so it's okay. So she's like doesn't show up for a while, and then she shows up like in the middle of Soul Society because how do I say this without saying too much? Something's wrong in Soul Society. There's betrayals going on and stuff, and she catches wind of it, and she's like, I'm gonna come back and sort some stuff out. So she comes back, and she ends up having to fight one of her students, who's like a captain of a squad, right? Flare, it's Soifon.
I know
what you're talking
what you're talking
about. Yeah. So hold on. I'll pull her picture up too.
I know who it
I
is.
remember this fight very well.
Okay, so
Good
she
fight.
fights her. Yeah, they fight. Soifon used to be her apprentice. She ends up becoming a captain, and she's pissed off at Yoriichi for leaving, right? Of course, so she's like, why'd you leave? What are you doing? Blah 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 blah. So they end up fighting, and towards the end of the fight, Soifon pulls out this technique, which basically like condenses your spirit energy across your body and just buffs all your stats. Yeah, that right there. That's a version from in the future, but yeah, it's that. It's called Shunko. So she pulls out this technique that buffs all your stats, and she's like, I created this technique specifically to beat you, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. I haven't even made a name for it because it's so new. And then Yoriichi looks at her and she's like, no, it already has a name. And she busts out the exact same technique, except it's better.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a serious moment, but it's super funny because it's a huge flex. Basically, that technique is like one of the end alls for Soul Reapers in general. So technically she didn't create it. It just so happens that she stumbled upon it because it's like that's like the end game D&D spell. Yeah. So she pulls out a better version and ends up beating Soifon with her own technique. I don't know, she's a huge flexer. It's pretty cool.
That weird butterfly seal thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, Yoruichi was a cat.
They had a very
But she was a
masculine
cat.
voice.
With a man's voice. It was pretty funny.
Bleach is funny. It's weird. Bleach is really funny for some reason.
It's
I don't know
cool.
what Kubo was doing. Anyway, that's Yoruichi. Number 23. We're back to JoJo, the highest JoJo character.
Oh, it's Dio.
Dio.
Dio did not make the list.
Whoa!
It's Joseph.
Oh yeah, Joseph.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joseph.
if it's the last Joseph.
Joseph. No plane crash can kill Joseph.
Not you.
Who the fuck is this?
Not you.
Get him out of here.
Just put Joestar.
I don't have to explain anything. Everyone
really
likes
don't.
We all
Joseph.
know.
I
we
love
all
Joseph.
He's
Know.
great.
That is great.
Jesus.
I've never seen anyone BS
Oh
their way
yes,
through.
he's also the best waifu. How could I forget?
Yeah, that too.
It's a better waifu than Cloud.
I've never
I mean,
seen
he
any
is still a life
protagonist
cheater.
BS his way through any story besides Kirito like this much. But also Joseph is super
He's
entertaining.
the
It's
only-
okay. Um,
What a legend.
What
Yeah.
a top tier god.
not
And
super
mind you-
well written or anything, but the entertainment value is through the roof.
Yeah.
When he's
It's
this
hard
high.
not to like him. I think that's the best
Mind
way
you,
to
this was
describe it.
People
he
who
was
hate Joseph
flexing-
literally do not know what true character is.
like
Look at that
he-
smug
he-
eat. Look at that shit eating grin he's got going on. He's perfect.
he flexes so hard, and this is before he even has a ability. Oh no!
I think the GIF version is in here later on.
Can I just
That's
say,
gotta be-
this is gonna be a hot take. I like part 3, Joseph, more than part 2's.
I like him
They're
both
both
equally.
pretty good. Do I disagree? Fuck. They're both really good, yeah.
They're
I
both
like them
amazing,
equally.
but I think Old Man Joseph is just like in another tier.
He's way better than fucking Jotaro's for sure.
Better than Jonathan.
Oh.
Jotaro's just
True.
a cardboard cutout that's the main character.
And you know what? You know what's stupid? You know what's really unfortunate about Jotaro? I think I mentioned this before, but like he's kind of the reason why he's so bad in the first place. Like he
What?
himself is the reason why he sucks.
What
Because
do you
mean?
years ago, back in the 80s, whenever when they got the OVA and the manga was like huge, everyone started copying Jotaro. Jotaro was like the cool thing back in the 80s. So like you fast forward almost now 30 years and this archetype has been done to death already. So when
I get what you mean. Yeah.
so when Stardust Crusaders comes out like with an actual anime and Jotaro's here, they didn't really adapt that to the new like what everyone's
yeah,
like. They
'cause,
just kept
if-
it to the source material,
well,
which is
yeah, well,
good. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, David Productions would not mess with JoJo. They don't do that.
Not at all.
Very good
So,
studio.
he's kind of like he was done to death by so many people trying to copy him that he
The
himself
people got
became
sick of it,
banned.
and then the problem is they do now. They finally release part, not the damn OVA, and
Kind of
then
like Dragon Ball, almost.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's what
Like,
happens
it was-
sometimes.
It was cool when it came out and everybody loved it, but then
but now
like,
it's the basic shonen
Now,
protagonist. who
now
eats a
almost
lot,
every shonen is
really
better.
literally eats a lot. Very happy, like optimistic protagonist who can get serious
just
when
the
it's
progression of time.
It's the Shakespeare problem. Like Shakespeare was super innovative. He created a lot of tropes, but like by today's standards, he's kind
That's
of
what they
just
are.
whatever.
They're tropes. Again,
Yes,
like
but back when they were made, they were not
I like-
tropes. Like it was just like
I like Jotaro in concept. Again, I think I've already explained.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, the main issue
I
for him
agree.
otherwise is that he relies on the rest of the main cast to have character.
And again, Jotaro kind of has that problem too.
Yeah, both Giorno and him have the same issues in that regard.
Giorno could have been so cool, dude. The son of Dio, like using Dio's charisma, but for good instead of evil, and then like having bouts with his morality could have been so good. But
It's
no,
okay. We had Italian mom Carrie.
it's
Bruno was pretty
Mutuati saved
let's
us.
get to 22 then.
All right.
All right, yeah. Who even is 22? Oh yeah, it's My Hero Academia.
Oh,
Is this
Not gonna
Bakugo?
bother. No,
Is it-
Bakugo isn't on the list. I think
Okay.
he's super well written, but he's not on the list.
is it All Might?
Nobody knows this guy's name. I'm gonna go ahead and write it.
Is it in?
Oh, is it the hand guy?
Oh, the Shigaraki? No.
Shigaraki?
This guy.
Who
That is
that?
his name. That's his name, but everybody calls him Stain.
Oh,
guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
know him.
Stain.
This guy was
Computer
cool. This
Stain.
guy's actually very cool.
This guy's a super well written character. His arc was so short, but like
It
his
was almost a
ideology.
mini arc. Like it was just
Yeah, but his like ideology is like one of the most powerful in the series. So although it's kind of funny because there's a problem with it that I'll bring up like in a second. But TLDR, My Hero Academia kind of has the One Punch Man problem, where a lot of the heroes in the world just do it because it's their job. They're not very moral. They just do it for the money, and they're not actually emotionally they're not heroes, even though like the pragmatic effects of their actions are good, right? And Stain hates this. He's like, we need a return to real heroism, and the only person I will let kill me is All Might because he is an actual hero. He's literally Superman, right? However, the problem is, I don't remember who told me this, but I thought it was really funny when I heard it. And it's like, okay, Stain, you're right. A lot of heroes are dicks. So you're going around killing heroes, right? However, there are also a bunch of villains who are causing actual problems that actually need to die as well. But you're choosing to kill the heroes instead. And that's kind of. It's
became-
kind of counterproductive a little bit.
He became the villain.
He
Yeah,
became
kind
what
of
he
stuff.
sought to not destroy, not himself destroy, but like he became what his ideology is intended to kill.
He sought to.
Yeah, he pretty much views like the corrupt heroes as a bigger problem than the villains. Like Endeavor, for instance, he's a wife beater. He abuses his kids. Like and Stain knows this. He hates Endeavor the most. Like that's like the kind of stuff he like seeks to destroy.
Also, Stain's
Really
power
good
is
scene when
really
they
good.
meet, by the way.
Stain's a
Yeah,
great ability.
Stain.
I licked your blood.
Yeah, basically, if he tastes your blood, you're like frozen for a good couple minutes. It's kind of busted.
And he's very fast already.
Also, it's kind of ridiculous. Like My Hero Academia has this weird thing where people can train themselves to be superhumans even without a quirk. Because Deku has like a super speed, super strength quirk, and Stain was outpacing him without a speed quirk. It's really weird.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's weird.
My Hero is weird. I can't really like explain in words why I like him this much. It's something you kind of have to see, just like the portrayal of his ideology and stuff. But yeah, he's cool.
It makes it sound like you're recommending it to me though.
Ugh. Okay, this thing I'll recommend up until like season 2. First 2 seasons are really good. I love the first 2 seasons.
The
After
first
that,
season
it's
was so
kind of
good. I loved season 1 a lot.
it's
Sounds
just
like Overlord.
literally
Watch the first 2 seasons, but stop after 3.
literally everything except Deku is so good. Just why is the well Deku has good moments, especially in season 2, but just I wish the protagonist was better. The series would be so good if Deku was a really good protagonist. The next character is from My Hero as well. It's the last My Hero character.
All right.
Is it Deku?
It's
Like
just
what?
got
No, it's probably All Might,
through-
right?
No,
No.
no, no.
Oh
This
yeah,
dude.
this. Oh yeah, Lucas.
This guy right
Mario,
here.
Lucas. It's
Lucas.
Lucas.
This Lucas.
Why does he have
Flair, do you
1,000,000? Why is 1,000,000 written on
His name is
his shirt?
Lemillion.
because his name is Lemillion because his goal as a hero is to save 1 million lives.
Oh, that's nice.
It's pretty cool. He's pretty much. Oh shit! Did I just make the sound again?
No, you're good.
He's
Oh,
pretty
this-
much better Deku. So of course, at the start of the series, right? I'll go ahead and spoil because it's like in the first.
It's
freaking
Lucas
episode.
from Earthbound.
Deku was born without a quirk. He was born with no powers, which is like only 10% of the population in that universe has no powers, I think. So it's like, oh, boo-hoo, shonen protagonist, underdog. I'm Rock Lee, but I'm also kind of not, because literally in the second episode, All Might gives me his powers. Yay.
Eat
I'm
my
not an
hair,
underdog anymore.
child.
Yeah, that. So he kind of got his powers, but he also didn't really work for it, and it's kind of weird. Mirio, on the other hand, he has what should be a crappy power. I was about to make an Obito reference, but nobody's seen part 2 of Naruto. So, yeah, his...
Obito.
So his power is
I'm
to
awaiting
slip
you in
through
top
stuff.
10, my friend.
I'm sorry. Yeah, his power is to slip through stuff. So, like, what can I even compare this to?
Like
Walk
he just
through
walks
walls
through
hack.
walls or something?
Yeah, he just walks through stuff. Yeah.
He has
It's
no
called,
clip. He
what's
has
the
no
name?
clip, even on his clothes.
Yeah. It's just no clip. It's just no clip. Yeah, he literally has no clip. However, the problem is, he has to. Originally, he like sucked with his powers. He has to control like every single piece of his body when he's no clipping. So like when he's if he makes like his head intangible. Light passes through his retinas, the sound goes through his ears, the smells go through his nose. His senses completely just black out
Oh
if he
wow.
no clips his head. So yeah, so he has to he had to train himself to an insane degree. He had to put himself through a bunch of situations just so that whenever he no clips his head through anything, he has to he
He has
has
to
experience and
selectively.
yeah
He has to
yeah
selectively no clip. Like he only
yeah
wants to
so
no clip the things he wants to no clip.
yeah, basically if he no clips his arm through his laptop, he has to individually
Do each
no
finger.
clip and unno clip each every single cell of his body individually as he's going through. Because if he no clips his entire arm and he wants to punch something on the other side of the laptop, if his fist is intangible after he goes through the laptop, you can't hit him, right? He just goes through the other dude.
Right.
It's a super hard quirk to use. And initially he sucked. Initially he was at the bottom of his class, but eventually he trained himself over a few years, and now he's one of the strongest
Really
heroes in the
He is
world.
actually the
He's
#1 student hero.
free. Yeah, it's crazy. Super super good and super cheery character too.
Very good.
That's his powers. He goes.
Cool dude.
He has this ideal of what a hero should be, just always smiling and stuff. He's basically All Might, but a kid. I don't know.
Mini All
His
Might.
Super entertaining to watch.
Funny enough, he has the
Yeah.
blonde hair and everything too.
Yeah. Oh,
Amazing.
what happens to him in season 4? In case anybody wants to watch My Hero, but yeah, he's a really cool guy. Probably one of my favorite characters, as a person. He would just be a really super cool friend.
All right, let's
Yeah.
continue.
20. That's 21. 20. Oh shit.
What?
20. 20. I'm not gonna bother with the guessing for this one. Look. Look.
Are you doing
Look.
something to me? Are you doing something to me?
Look. Look.
Jiren.
Look.
Oh
Look.
my god.
Look. Look.
I
Hear
know.
me out. Look. Hear me out. Okay.
Jiren the Great.
No. Get this out of here. No, you didn't fix it. He's like I said, Dragon Ball kinda sucks. We all know Dragon Ball kinda
No
sucks.
trust people. Be strong.
No, it's way more complicated than that, okay? He's literally the best written character in Super. I will hear no other. Actually, no, I will hear other opinions, but they're all wrong. Look, I have explained this several times.
I'm pretty sure we've
but
had a
he
debate
is-
about
Yes, we
this.
We've had He's TLDR. He's a foil to Goku. He's what Goku may or may not have been if he didn't have the crutch of the Dragon Balls or his friends. They kind of sort of have the same backstory.
I thought
bad thing
Frieza was the foiled go.
Well, in a
You
different
can
way.
have different kinds of foils.
All right, we're not getting into this right now.
Yeah,
we're talking about
'cause-
Jiren.
Well, I can talk about it real quick. Long story short, Goku's kind of a flat character. He doesn't change over the course of the series, not really. His ideologies kind of stay the same. Frieza is the same way, so that that's why they clash, because they're Frieza's pure good, Frieza's pure evil, Goku's pure good, and they stay the same. And then those two they meet, and that all that jazz. But the way Jiren is a foil
because he changes.
Yeah, sort of. They both had Goku and Jiren. They both had this kind of bad thing happen to them. They both turned to their friends for support for whatever reason. Jiren because he wanted to fight. Goku. I don't have to explain Dragon Ball. Only the difference is Goku had friends he could count on. Jiren didn't. Jiren's friends were like, "Screw you! I'm not fighting for your life. I don't want to die." So Jiren's like, "Okay, I don't need friends. I don't need trust. All I need is power." Literally the opposite direction Goku took, and that's why he is who he is. Could have been executed better. Obviously, there are issues. I'm not saying he's perfect, but the concept is good.
Could have been executed very much better, I would say.
Way better, but the concept was good. It's probably the most interesting concept of any Dragon Ball character besides Vegeta.
He was good for the
He's
memes.
decent.
Damn.
Got him.
We done? We're done. All right.
Next.
19.
Anyway,
Continue.
on to a
Continue.
character I think we can agree more on. Is from Yu Yu Hakusho. We're getting back to the Togashi.
Kurama.
It's Leonorio, isn't it?
Leo.
No, Yu Yu
Yeah, that's Hunter
Hakusho,
x Hunter.
bro.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Same
yeah.
difference.
The same
Eh.
same series.
So is it Kurama or Yusuke?
Neither.
If
What?
Yusuke is 19, I'm gonna riot.
No, he's not. All right, let's go.
I probably
Younger
won't.
Toguro.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Look at his fucking
Look at
sunglasses.
this.
He's so cool.
He's so goddamn cool.
I will reward you with about 50% of my strength.
Face.
Actually, I think it was about 40. Do we have the Mentos picture? We don't have the smile, do we? It's not on here. Ah, man. Oh, well. That's fine. Acker, have you seen Yu Yu?
No, I have not watched Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
Get that jump force out of my face.
You gotta see it now.
How do I make this short? Basically, Yusuke didn't have a father figure like throughout the entire series, so he didn't really turn to Toguro, but he kind of latched onto Toguro's power, and he figured he wanted that for himself. The only problem is Toguro did kind of crappy things to get it. So like by the end of the Dark Tournament, he kind of realizes that, and he realizes his power isn't everything, and he realizes he has to hold on to who he is.
Yeah, in Yusuke's words, he says like he used to
Yeah.
look up to Toguro because Toguro didn't take orders from anybody, and at the time, Yusuke was getting bossed around by everybody like Genkai. He was having to get trained and having to do things their way. And Yusuke is a stubborn jackass, and he likes to do things his way, and he wasn't able to do that, so that's why he latched on to
Justin Cook
Toguro.
nailed that speech, by the way. That was so good.
Yes, sir.
Fuck, there's so much I could. I'm trying to figure out how to put this short way. Basically, Toguro used to. He's a demon. Like by the end of the series, he's a demon. Throughout the Dark Tournament, he's a demon. However, he used to be a human. And X, correct me if I'm wrong on anything. He used to he had like a dojo of people he trained.
Yeah, that was the whole crux of the situation.
Yeah, some stuff happened. Some bad stuff happened. There were some people he needed to beat. He was not strong enough to beat them. So he made a self-sacrifice. He became a demon. He got demon powers and he got the strength. However, of
No,
course,
he got the
became a
demon powers after he killed the guy.
Yeah, that. However, he he lost his humanity in the process, and he basically took on all the traits that he used to hate. And by the time he realized he was too far gone, he was like, well, fuck. And but he had enough of his self left to realize he wanted to repent. So all of the Dark Tournament, and you find this out at the end, all of the Dark Tournament is pretty much him trying to find someone to kill him and trying to find someone who would finally punish him. And he finds that in Yusuke. Yusuke finally beats him. So,
yeah. Kawano's speech at the end is just like, oh, it's poetry.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I can't phrase it any better than Koama did. Toguro is really cool.
It's funny enough, like he becomes the most human character despite being a demon, just because of how he has these conflicting desires and all that stuff. It's just like really.
Sometimes it really do be like that.
Right. Okay. Next is 18. 18 is from Naruto.
Naruto. Oh.
Everybody
Jeez,
knows
you
this
guessed it.
character.
Is it Gara?
Pain.
Everybody know. It's from part 1. Well, they.
Oh.
Part 1.
Is it Naruto?
Yeah,
Wrong.
Naruto
Is it our boy?
Good.
The omnipotent boyo?
Jiraiya?
Yes, it is.
Jiraiya.
No, it's the omnipotent boy.
What?
Orochimaru?
Kakashi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
Kakashi.
fire.
Hey, what's up?
Takeshi!
Hey.
40 kekeks.
Holy shit, the connection's bad. Hold up.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, it's Kakashi.
And he died.
I can respect that.
Okay, so let's talk about Kakashi, right? Because there's a bunch of stuff that gets revealed in part 2 that I want to talk about because it's really important, and Kakashi is actually a super well-written character, so he deserves it.
Okay. Well, you can go full spoilers because I'm not watching the rest of the series.
I understand that. So basically, there by the end of part one, there have been three Ninja World Wars, right? There's the first one, second one, third one. Kakashi was a part of the third one. And when the third World War was going on, the fourth Hokage was alive. I know that sounds weird because in part one, you have the third Hokage, right? What happened was the third Hokage stepped down at some point before the series started. The fourth Hokage took over, who happens to be Naruto's dad, by the way. Ooh, spoilers. But
No, you
Oh yeah,
mean Boruto's.
nobody could have seen that one
I
coming.
gotta
You
turn
mean
this.
Boruto's dad's son's
Oh,
grandfather.
I gotta turn this man down. Hold on.
yeah,
I
like
have
that.
him turned down way
So
too low because I can barely. Anyway, continue.
the fourth Hokage was alive during the third Ninja World War, and I don't remember like all the specifics of the war. But anyway, the important part is Kakashi basically had a team that was kind of like his part one team, except Kakashi was pretty much the Sasuke of the team. Um, there's a character named Obito. Oh boy, named Obito, who
Oh,
was the Naruto of his team. There's a character named Rin, who was the Sakura of the team. She was a
except not
girl,
trash.
and
Useless.
yeah, not trash. And then Minato was the sensei of the team. Minato was the teacher. So, oh, outside. Anyway, so the World War happens, right? And what ends up happening is through some shenanigans, Rin, the Sakura of the team, ends up being the Jinchuriki of the three-tailed beast. I don't remember the name, but they like control water and stuff. And as I said before, the tailed beasts in Naruto are pretty much like super weapons, right? They're nukes, super powerful. Everybody wants to get their hands on them. So in this war, one of the villages, if somebody remembers, they can remind me. I don't remember. One of the villages sent like a bunch of ninja and stuff to try and get their hands on Rin to
Oh.
extract the tailed beast and use them for their own purposes.
I think it was the village hidden behind the mist.
Mist, yeah, it was the Mist Village, right, thanks.
Kirigakure.
Yeah, the Mist Village. So the Mist Village is like rolling up. They're trying to get Rin, which of course drags like Kakashi's team into the war and stuff. Shenanigans happen. Kakashi and Obito get in a fight with the Mist, and in this fight, Obito's entire left half gets crushed under a rock. So he's pretty much he dies. He's pretty much dead.
Oh wait, sorry, no, that village was the hidden stone. I
Really?
misread. Yeah, the hidden stone.
It's not the Mist, because the Mist.
No,
I'm pretty sure the Mist had the three tails at one
The
point.
ninjas they were fighting against in that were stone ninjas. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Stone
I think
it's
Mist
fine.
Ninjas. I think the Mist Ninjas come a bit later when Rin gets. Yeah, you know what.
Oh no, okay, yeah. I know what happened. So yeah, they were fighting the stone at first, right? The important part is Obito gets crushed, like half his body gets crushed, and Kakashi's like, oh fuck, because he was so busy fighting the ninjas, he didn't like bother paying attention to his partner. Because Kakashi was the broken one of the team, right? Obito was behind him. Rin was way behind both of them, so he was like neglecting Obito, focusing on his own fight, and he didn't. He figures that he should have been there for Obito, and maybe he wouldn't have gotten crushed, right?
Right.
So Obito, right before he dies, he gives. Oh, by the way, Obito is an Uchiha. That's kind of important. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, how many
That's a
Uchihas
little-
are
There's a
there?
lot. There's a lot of Uchiha.
A
But
lot.
All
Obito
of
is
There's
them.
a lot.
Uchiha.
So yeah, before Obito dies, he gives Kakashi his Sharingan. Don't eye transplants just work in Naruto. I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah.
They just work. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing. Sure.
Yeah. He gives.
That's
he
how
gives
it works.
Kakashi his eye, right? And that's how Kakashi gets his Sharingan. Because of course Kakashi's not an Uchiha. That's why he can't use his Sharingan for long. Because it's like it's not natural to him. It burns out his chakra super fast. So, long story short, shenanigans happen. Oh, actually, no, I can talk about this because we talked about Madara earlier. Madara revives Obito with Hashirama cells. Remember how I said those are super broken?
Oh my
Yeah,
God, dude.
yeah, they brought him back to life.
How does that
So he revives Obito, unbeknownst to Mr. Naive Obito. Madara is using him for his own goals, but we're not going to get into that. Anyway, Madara like trains Obito, sort of like kind of buffs him up a little bit, gives him a little stat boost. Of course, the war is still going on outside, right? While this is all happening, they train for like a few weeks or something. Meanwhile, back with Kakashi, eventually I think this is the part where they get into the fight with the Mist Ninjas, right? Because the Mist Ninjas want the Three Tails too. So time passes. Eventually, Kakashi and Rin get into a fight with the Mist. Minato is not there because I think Minato is busy just fighting other ninjas at this point. But it gets to the point where they're like, fuck, we're not gonna. Well, Rin and Kakashi and they're like, fuck, we're not gonna win. And then Rin asks Kakashi to kill her because if I'm pretty sure if they something about if they kill Rin, then they won't be able to get the three tails, right? So and then of course Kakashi's like, no, I can't kill you. That's bad. We can find another way. And then Rin is like,
That's
no,
really
we are
bad.
literally about to lose. We have to. This is what we need to do. So at this point, during the fight, Obito finishes his training. He's coming back. He's gonna help his team, right? He's all psyched up and stuff. So Kakashi's like, no, I'm not gonna kill you. He goes back to fighting, and he gets into a fight with one of the Mist Ninjas. Freaking Rin during the fight, Kakashi activates his Chidori, that gift that's on the screen right now. He activates his Chidori. He's gonna go stab a ninja, and Rin jumps in the way of the Chidori, and Kakashi stabs her to the chest.
Like a
That's how Rin.
dumbass she is.
She just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do it myself, and she makes Kakashi kill her. Obito comes in at this exact moment, and the only thing he sees without any context is Kakashi stabbing Rin.
By the way,
And so he's
Obito
like,
was in love with Rin.
Oh, that explains it.
Also, that automatically makes Rin more useful than Sakura because she knew when it was her time to fucking die.
Oh my god.
Unironically true. So yeah, the only thing Obito sees is Kakashi killing Rin, and he's like, he legit
He's
just has a
livid.
mental breakdown right there. So Kakashi super dips out of the way. He doesn't even notice Obito's there because he's so caught up in his own emotions. Obito like activates like the next level of his Sharingan because of that. So does Kakashi, but that's less important. Obito goes on a rampage. He just bodies all the not the Leaf Ninja, the Mist Ninja with his new broken grease powers.
Like I'm not even talking about body. We're talking about like absolutely, utterly fucking destroying them.
That was a super gruesome scene. Like he was like tearing them in half. He was like
Destroys
ripping
them.
people's
No
spines out.
contest.
It was
Actual
nuts.
fucking slaughter.
Like it was. It's not okay.
It was like beyond some Hunter x Hunter Phantom Troop shit. He went nuts. He's like, it's to the point where like his mental breakdown is so bad. He's like, wow, I never really came back to life. I'm literally just in hell. Like this has to be hell. And so, let me bring up this. You notice? Do you remember this guy? Have you has anybody seen this?
The funny
course I
masked
have.
man.
Okay,
It's okay. Toby's a good boy. That's
yeah, Toby's a good boy. Basically, Obito goes back to Madara and he's like, okay, that sucked. And you know what? The entire world sucks. This is happening pretty much all over the world. This is what the ninja world has created. This is the way it is. I don't like the way it is. We are going to change the world. So Madara's like, all right, I'm gonna help you out. Well, which is kind of what Madara wanted all along, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, Obito becomes Toby, right? He puts on the mask. He dons like the alias of Toby. I swear this is all going to come back to Kakashi, by the
nobody
way.
cared
Just
about me.
bear with
until
me
I
here.
Put on
Basically, yeah. So in part 2, Toby comes back and he basically convinces the world that he's Madara. Because by this point in part 2, Obito is broken as hell. Like one of the strongest
Yeah,
people
might as
in the
well have
world,
been
easy
Madara.
clap.
But
It
before
pretty
that,
much-
he convinces everyone that he's a completely fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, I just skipped over that. He like joins the Akatsuki and like eventually just outs himself as Madara, even though he's not Madara, obviously. But yeah, he incites the fourth Great Ninja War pretty much because he gets a Sharingan and a Rinnegan. He brings back a bunch of dead Jinchuriki, and just he pretty much has control of most of the tailed beasts.
Does he
And
bring
then the
back,
fourth Great Ninja War starts. This is like
Does he bring back Rin?
Rin,
No.
Rin. That doesn't
Yeah,
happen. He's like
why?
he's kind of moved on from like that. Not really, but like he's moved on from that single goal, and he's like, I'm going to change the entire world at this point. He's on his light Yagami shit. No,
Because he lost his
so
not girlfriend.
yeah, even though she was like 13 or something, I don't know. But anyway, the World War starts. Of course, Kakashi, Naruto, and everybody from part 1 and characters from part 2 get involved. Eventually, there's a fight between, I think it's Naruto, Guy, Kakashi versus Obito. Yeah, that's the fight.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Guy.
it gets just the reveal gets built up to for a while because of course Kakashi and Obito have the same Sharingan. They have the same Sharingan powers. So you kind of know it's coming at some point, but eventually, through some like shenanigans, Naruto is able to break Tobi's mask or Obito's mask, and then he sees Obito's face, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, how? First of all, how are you even alive? Secondly, how are you? What are you doing?" And the first thing Obito says is, "Because you let Rin die." And all of a sudden, the entire war, at least in Kakashi's mind, the entire war, all the thousands of people that have died in the war are all on his shoulders. Because he figures if he didn't fuck up then none of this wouldn't have happened. Now Obito wouldn't have done all that, right? So that's all that to say. Kakashi goes through a lot of crap throughout the series. Like,
Even though that was
even in
mostly all
part
about
one,
Obito.
Yeah.
yeah. Part one,
Actually,
obviously.
actually, the entire series is like, oh wait, there's been a misunderstanding.
Most of Naruto is just Kakashi being depressed because even in part one, all of that is weighing on him, right? There's like even if you pay attention to it, even in part one, him leading Team 7 is basically what he feels is his second chance with the team that he lost because he outlived his master, the fourth Hokage. He outlived Rin. In his mind, he outlived Obito because he figured Obito died. So when he messes up with Team 7, it just messes him up again because he's like, well, Sasuke left the village. Naruto's gonna be running from the Akatsuki forever because he's a Jinchuriki. Everybody wants
Sakura's
his
literal
power.
trash. I can't save her.
Yeah, it's a
is
Sakura's trash. Kakashi's just kind of depressed throughout the entire series until the
Poor
very
guy.
end of Shippuden, where everybody comes back and he just like gets this euphoria when he's like, I finally did it. I finally didn't screw up. So, I don't know. Easy to feel sorry for the dude. There's a lot of moments that
Well, it's a
kind
good
of harp
thing.
on how messed up.
It's a good thing
Go ahead.
people can just come back.
And we'll talk more about it once we get to Obito in the top 10.
Obito isn't on the list, dog.
Wait, what list?
I already said. Oh, Iron, look in the Maka lab in the lab in the archive.
How the fuck is Obito not on the list?
Obito,
It's okay.
Kamui.
Midoriya
Obito's
is on the
good.
list.
I just
He's not
think
even in the
Kagashi's way
honorable
better.
mentions.
How the fuck is Obito not on this damn list, bro?
Come on.
Like,
go.
Obito is literally just, I'm an idiot. I fucked up.
He's
What?
cool. He's cool. I think Kakashi's way better. I think all the Naruto characters on this list are way better.
Come on.
Obito's broken though,
Next.
obviously. Okay, next. Oh, next is another Naruto character. It's okay. Everybody agrees with this. Literally everybody agrees with this. This is not gonna piss everybody off.
Itachi.
I'm not trolling. This is for real. No, it's not Itachi.
Fuck.
Just post or it didn't happen.
Minato?
Okay. Nope. No, it's Lee.
Oh, Rock Lee.
Oh.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes!
Obvious. I don't even have to say anything.
Let's go, bushy brows.
Takes off
The
tra-
Chad
the
Lee.
those training
The
weights aren't
power
gonna
of
mean shit.
youth.
Drops the
What
is
the
that?
fuck is that?
Let's
His wife. Oh, look at this Chad.
part one
Yes,
Rock Lee.
there he
Part
is.
one Rock Lee. Nothing to explain here. It's elite. It's elite, dude. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Part 1
Madara
Lee is
fight
more
with-
badass than part 2 Lee will ever be.
Agree.
His sheer existence and then Sasuke's pure existence literally is like, oh yeah, you could train super hard and then there's always going to be someone that's naturally better than you.
Or he just
Kinda
copies all
ninjutsu.
your moves.
Hard work really does pay off until, you
Copy
know.
pasta your moves.
And then we gotta remember with the gates, Lee was probably literally the most
Lee
Shunnin at the time.
100% in part 1 with the gates is the most broken ninja in all of the Genin.
Yep.
Gara with Shukaku is the only exception.
I mean,
Obviously.
okay, but
that's kind of a cheat code.
Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a Jinchuriki.
Let's
I mean,
go.
so does Naruto, but Gara has more control over it, I guess, or he is busted as sand. It's not as busted because Lee just goes faster than the sand.
Like, Lee is so fast, I don't even think Shikamaru could comprehend a situation in which he could win. He would just
Well,
disengage.
Actually, yeah. I've never debated that. I'm not sure how that would go.
And Shikamaru is literally my favorite character from Naruto.
I don't blame you. He's really good.
The goat.
More
Alright,
so
yeah,
than
Lee-
Except that
He's awesome.
more so than Hinata because Shikamaru actually does shit. What?
Damn, we still got 2 One Punch Man characters to go through.
Oh, speaking of One Punch Man, next character is a One Punch Man character.
did top
Okay,
two,
I gotta look at that list now. Okay,
No,
what
Genos
is it?
isn't on the list, right? I think you already said.
Isn't
Makalet.
Genos. No, not Genos.
Yeah,
Genos
these-
isn't on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Saitama?
Atama.
Not Saitama.
It's not Tatsumaki.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yes.
Garo. It's Garo.
It's Garo. It is Garo.
From
Garo.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Garo from the Pokemon.
Garo.
Garo Chomp.
So, like, psychology is something that's been done. However, the execution in One Punch Man is so good. This is such a well-written series. I swear to God. Like, on the surface, it's super funny and everything, but there is so much you can talk about with One Punch Man. So,
Yeah.
it's not a shonen, obviously, right? The main character is like the end game shonen character. It's like, okay, you are the strongest. Now what? So you can't explore that angle with Saitama. So what do you do instead? You explore that character with a villain, because Garo's entire psychology is basically like TLDR. The world is unfair. You have all these heroes that are not actually heroic. They're just doing it for the job, and everybody aligns with them, not because what they think, not because like they think they're always right, but just because they are the heroes. Heroes, like, by the status quo, they are always right. The villains are always wrong, and that is never going to change. So Garo says, okay, I'm going to be the strongest. I'm going to be so strong that people are going to be forced to actually think, and I'm going to present a different way of thinking to the world. So that's his shonen protagonist journey, except it's super evil, and it's completely flipped, right?
So he's like,
So, like, the way-
sane, but
the-
better.
Way better. Way better.
He's yeah, I like fuck. They're both
yeah,
really good.
yeah.
I prefer Garo because I just think the concept of like flipping the shonen protagonist like trope to the evil side is just really well done in One Punch Man. Also, the art is amazing though, so that helps.
Also, he's more busted, so that also helps.
That was ridiculous.
Actually
I didn't catch
retarded.
up on One Punch
He
Man.
just
I've only
he,
seen the
he
first
even has
season.
like the freaking the Saiyan like gets stronger through fighting and recovering from near death thing. It's so obvious that he's
He's
just
like
a parody of the trope.
he's like Saiyan Meruem inside a human body.
Super good character.
What?
Might want
This
to
is like
switch
Meruem
Garo to One Punch Man.
in Super Saiyan, but a human body. Literally that. Can adapt and copy every single technique he has seen once.
All right.
And I mean, he copied a technique that you can only do when you have two people.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. What the fuck?
How busted.
Yes.
Might want to switch Garo to One Punch Man and not Pokemon.
I don't know if
Okay.
he's a good Pokemon.
Oh, he did.
Maka.
He's coming back.
Oh no.
What was,
Maka!
what was that one thing that always wakes him up?
Sasuke Kyurem is a fucking fraud and sucks as a character.
That's got to do something. That has
Shit,
to
it didn't work.
He'll be back. He'll be back. In the meantime, I'm going to make a cup of coffee.
I will also go. Actually, I'm
Rebecca.
gonna go use the bathroom.
Oh, he's
Oh,
back. Too late. You can't do
Can I
anything.
use the
You can-
bathroom, please?
that's-
I need to.
Good
Yeah,
thing you
that's
didn't
where-
hear what
that's
I
where
just
yeah,
said.
that's where I
Also
that's where I
fix
just
Garo.
went, so go ahead. Fix what? Oh, what the fuck? What am I doing? How's that even-
Pokemon.
how's that even possible?
I don't know. You tell me.
You're the idiot.
You're the idiot. Oh yeah, Iron. What do you? How wrong is my list so far?
I'm gonna look at it in a second. I'm just gonna hunt this monster really quick. Fucking Odo ass motherfucker.
The rest of these characters are pretty much people everybody knows, by the way, so it's okay.
Yeah, just
All right, the
I'm gonna
coffee's
take a look at
brewing.
it.
Let's get to
Coffee.
coffee. Okay, number 15.
X hasn't gotten back.
Oh fuck.
Ow. Oh, big meaty swing. Fuck. Oh my god, stop hitting me.
I wonder how, like, I wonder if Bleach has even started work, and if it hasn't, then isn't it gonna get delayed because of this whole, because like the world is ending?
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Don't see how it
It's
comes
only
out.
ending for a little bit. The world just has to go on a hiatus. That's all.
2020.
I didn't know the word was written by Togashi.
Yeah, Death Stranding was like foreshadowing for this. It's crazy. Kojima's actually a genius.
Like Kojima and Togashi just are the king of. Jeez. Oh my god.
I'm just
Crazy
happy that
shit.
we're still able to live, like in my
Personally.
area, we're able still to live like the way that we're used to. Like nothing's really changed. Just we're actually just stopped a dine-in service and we cut down our staff, so we're actually saving a lot more money. But
Nice.
All right, I'm back.
hello.
Yeah, I'm still going to work as a and all those people, and we had this case in Spotsy, so I may or not be sick and just not have any symptoms. I don't know.
Well, it takes about
It's
2
awesome. I
weeks.
love it.
Yeah, it takes like 2 weeks to show symptoms.
Yeah,
That's why we're on. That's why everyone's like shutting down for 2 weeks.
right. So anyway, Garo is actually the highest character in A tier, so we're done with A tier.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Now we're getting to
Open
the
it up.
big boys.
Well, not the big boys yet, because we're getting to A plus tier. Oh
That
shit.
big
Oh.
Oh god, it's one of those.
A plus tier. A plus tier. The anyway, we're starting off A plus tier with the second Yu Yu Hakusho character that has been
Uh-oh.
incorrectly guessed before, so try it again.
Kurama.
Yeah.
Click.
Yeah.
Kurama, I don't,
My favorite.
not my favorite, but obviously, but yeah,
Well,
he
I
was
think
my favorite for a while.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
How hard would it be for you to
You,
guess my favorite Yu Yu Hakusho character?
I have no idea.
Well, he's in the honorable mentions, my Iron. So
I can't look at the list right now, but if you think it's Kuwabara, it's not.
Is it
Really, I don't know.
Yusuke?
Is it Chu? It's Chu.
Yeah,
it's Chu.
Chu,
Yeah.
baby.
Chu is
Chu and
nowhere on this
Swallow.
list.
Chu, I don't even blame you. Chu is awesome. I love Chu.
There's a lot of good Yu Yu Hakusho characters.
Pikachu.
Anyway,
Chu, lol.
Yeah, Chu lol.
Kurama is he's entertaining as hell. All of them are super entertaining, but obviously Kurama is
He's probably the smartest of the group.
easy. His fights are just always great. He's like a Nen user, pretty much. Like a prototype Nen user. He fights like
I
a
can believe
Hunter
it.
character. Yeah, even like Hiei says Kurama is more cutthroat than me, so even though he has like this super polite and super put together like persona, when it gets down to it, he'll do what needs to be
He will
done.
kill you, and he won't
And
care.
then he'll kill you again.
A series
Also,
about
probably
like
uses Black Rose
Kurama probably
Dragon
has like
after a
the
while.
he has like the most gruesome kills in the series. Honestly,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, dude, the way he killed Shishi Wakamaru was crazy. I was like, ugh.
Who was Shishi
Where he like
Wakamaru again?
he like put the plant inside his body and then
Yeah. Was that? Wait, that was in the Dark Tournament, right?
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh, then okay. No.
Or
Okay,
like
okay.
Maki, like what he does to Elder Toguro.
oh yeah, oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah,
He's been through some stuff.
Yeah, he is crazy.
You kind of get a
This
little
whole
more
thing throughout-
appreciation for him, like in the final arc, where you get some more backstory on him, like you do with Hiei. But
in which like
Oh,
he
you
has this whole thing throughout the series with the like accepting your past versus rejecting your past and like coming to terms with it, because of course he relies on Yoko's power every now and then, but he kind of wants to forget about Yoko because he wasn't exactly proud of who he was back then. So the way he handles that, especially like when it comes to a head during the Demon World tournament, is pretty cool.
Yo,
Probably
me.
my favorite character arc of the series, probably. Either him or Toguro.
You gotta change Kurama to 15. There's no number there.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Line your arm up.
I can respect that.
14.
That's a good spot for him.
Okay, time to look at the list again.
Yeah, let Ian look at the list real quick.
Okay, sure.
14. Oh.
What is this?
Sensui, Hiei, Kuwabara, Pariston. Pariston?
I like Pariston.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's a
Nigga, you put Pariston and Shia Booth next to each other. What kind of shit post honorable mention is this?
Yes.
All right, number 14.
Okay,
You're
okay,
laughing. I gotta know.
I respect Shikamaru though. I respect him, especially compared what comes after that. Random Okuyasu. Okay, I dig it. I dig it.
Random Okuyasu.
Random.
Adam Blade. Let's go.
He understands. He appreciates Adam. He
Shut up.
appreciates
Oh, yeah,
the beast.
Kisuke Urahara, Joseph Chizome Austin. Jiren. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
He's just
I
like,
will stand Jiren until the end of time. I will be the final Jiren defender left on this planet.
He is the resident Jiren apologist.
okay, but what's this 14 though? What is it?
Yeah, so let's
14
go.
is from Bleach.
Oh boy.
Is it Aizen?
It's Aizen.
Is it? Nah,
It's Aizen.
What? It's that low?
It is
Since when were you since when were you under the
Since
impression
when
that
were
he was
you
actually
under the
this low?
impression that Aizen wasn't on this list?
I was expecting him way higher.
Well, just by process of elimination, there's already 2 Bleach characters on the list, and he's doing 3 from each series at
Oh, yeah, I
most.
didn't-
And Aizen's
3
So
max.
if
He doesn't
Aizen
have
wasn't
any
in the
things.
final 2, then he has to be this one.
Yeah. So Aizen, I'm not gonna.
His
talk about
hair
it.
is so nice.
Aizen is literally a super.
He is a model, dude.
Because he's worth it.
Isn't everybody in Bleach a supermodel?
Pretty much. Everyone's got the jawline of like fucking Zeus himself.
Look at this nut-worthy face.
Fuck worthy.
Fuck worthy face. I'm not even gay and I'd fuck that face.
Just the face.
Just the face.
Anyway, Aizen is
He's
a
probably
Hippon.
ripped as shit, actually.
I don't even know. Hang on, I'm gonna fucking find some manga panels, maybe. Aizen is a really big.
And
I should have prepared.
Look at him. He can
Ooh.
rock any hairstyle.
Why he got the
Hey,
glasses?
when he puts away his glasses, his jawline changes.
Anyway, okay, so I have a couple things prepared. When I say a couple, I mean one because I'm just gonna talk about the rest. So Aizen is a huge flexor. He's he's the villain of the Arankar arc. I'm not gonna talk about you know what flare because that's spoilers for Soul Society.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably the biggest flexor in Bleach, which says something because there are several flexors in Bleach.
I'm pretty
I
sure
already talked
everybody
about-
in Bleach flexes at one point.
Has flexes, Yoriichi has flexes, Kenpachi has flexes, everybody has flexes.
Grimjow had
Aizen-
fucking flexes.
Aizen outdoes absolutely all of them. His introduction, which I'm not gonna spoil, was a flex. My favorite is it my favorite flex? Is it? Yeah. No. I'll talk about my favorite flex last. However, one of my favorite flexes is in the Espada arc. He's fighting X. Do you know that Bleach has like captains and stuff?
I think you said something about that earlier.
They're the people in the white. Hold on.
You have 13 divisions. You have a captain commander of each division. No, wait, a captain of each division and the lieutenant, which is basically the second seat. And the commanders are like
these
super
dudes.
powerful. Every captain has a bankai, which is a requirement. So they're all crazy powerful.
They're basically the Phantom Troop except good. They're like they're the Soul Society police. Sort
Except
of.
for that Frieza guy, dear God. Fuck.
Yeah, they're all super broken.
Yeah.
So in the Espada arc, they're
That
fighting
furry.
basically they're fighting the
random
actual
dog,
Bleach
dude.
Phantom Troop.
There's a random dog person.
How dare you disrespect Master Sergeant
Komamura.
Komamura?
How am I supposed to know who that is?
It's a furry, don't at me.
He is a broad wolf warrior.
Bro, he literally just exploded. How dare you!
I'm sorry, I haven't watched Bleach.
Hey,
Well, maybe you should.
Hey, Iron.
Yes.
Oh, that was
Literally.
fucking
So
funny.
yeah, it's funny because I'm about to talk about Komamura getting absolutely flexed on, but it's okay. So during the Espada arc, at some point, the captain's fight, which is what is basically the Bleach Espada, or the Bleach Phantom Troop, which is the Espada, basically a bunch of guys with masks who are all super broken. Let me pull them up real quick.
Because they used to be like hollows, these bad demon shits.
I need a good picture. There you go. Low quality, but there you go. These guys. So the captains fight the Espada at one point. There's like kind of building to this because like there were one-on-one fights, and then there's this big like kind of
Ainz is just there for the show. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So they're fighting the Espada, like a bunch of one-on-one battles, and then Aizen comes in and is like, "What the fuck is taking you guys so long? Just beat the captains!" Like the most forehead comment. And one of the Espada is like, "Bro, they're so strong. Like, you can't just beat them." And so I think I don't remember exactly what happens, but I think one of the blonde one in the bottom left, for some reason she decides to like attack Aizen, or at
Isn't
least
that
try to.
Haribel? That's her name.
Hellabel, yeah.
Yeah,
Hellabel, yeah.
Haribo.
So she tries to
Fire.
attack Aizen, and Aizen just one shots her. Because yeah, Aizen is the leader of the Espada. I probably should have mentioned that. What are you guys typing? Oh, so it's T E T.
The T is
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, that.
Bullshit.
There
Yeah.
you go. Bullshit. So yeah, Aizen comes in. He gets kind of pissed at them and not doing their job. So he like one shots one of the Espada, and he decides, okay, I'm going to fight literally all of the captains at once. All these broken ass guys who are all just like way stronger than the main protagonist. Even like most of Soul Society was Ichigo training to fight one of the captains for reasons that I will not spoil. But yeah, they were like super hyped up, and now there's like 10 of them at once, and Aizen is about to fight all of them, right? So they're doing reasonably well. They're all using like their hacks. One of them has ice. One of them has like it's like
Oh, you
jank
mean
death
that
power. I'm not
midget?
gonna
Yep, I know who that is.
Little ice
Hmm?
midget dude.
Toshiro. So they all have these different powers, and they're all doing decently well, right? One of them, Soifan, the person who was fighting Yoruichi before, she's kind of their crutch, right? Because her power is if she has like a little her zanpakuto is like a little knife that's like attached to her wrist, and if she stabs you with it twice in the same spot, you die. It's like an instant
Basically,
kill.
it's
Yeah.
just like her arm is basically that of a toxic croc with her sword released.
So if you get stabbed once, you get this mark on you. If she hits the mark like in the bullseye again, you die. That's GG. So that they decide that's how they're gonna beat Aizen, right? And they do all this like this Death Note strategy crap to like set her up and get her to get the second hit in, right? And she gets the second hit in. She gets the death blow. She gets it.
And he doesn't die.
And hold on, let me get the picture. I just had it. She's laughing. So yeah, she gets the death blow in, and Aizen it hits Aizen, like he doesn't block it or anything, and then Aizen grabs her wrist, and she's just like, "What? Why aren't you dead?" And this is the panel. Basically, what he's saying is that any battle in Bleach like is a battle of spirit energy, right? So like if someone's spirit energy is strong enough to like overpower the other person, there's pretty much nothing they can do. So basically, Aizen is so much of a Chad that he negged her hacks. Like the hacks just didn't get through his spirit energy. He says no. This is like
This-
in a Pokemon
You think this
battle.
works?
if-
This doesn't work.
like
It
imagine
missed.
a Pokemon with such high defense that you literally can't freeze, burn, or put it to sleep. Like the hacks doesn't work on it because its defense is so high.
Or if you can't you can't use a one shot kill move on a Pokemon that's higher level than the Pokemon using the move. So
Right.
I think that's a better.
So
pretty good.
it just straight up didn't work. So they have to keep fighting.
It's like a level 100 Shuckle with permanent Lumberry, and she's like a level 1 Weedle.
So Aizen has like the broken defense stat and just as equally broken of an attack stat. That too. However, the flex doesn't end there. They keep fighting because they're like, well, fuck, that didn't work. So they just keep beating and beating on him, right? And at one point, they have this. The captains have this guy on their team that can like basically invert your senses. So
Oh,
like if you,
Shinji.
Shinji. So if you see something coming like towards you from the front, it's actually coming towards you from the back. Weird stuff like that, right? So they use him a lot, and eventually they get to stab Aizen through the chest. They beat him, quote unquote, again, right? And hold on, how do I
Man,
Bitch.
you're laughing.
try not to
See this guy.
try not to spoil too much? So they beat him again, and the camera like it like pans to this bystander, one of the other Soul Reapers that's just watching the fight.
I think it was Ichigo.
No, it wasn't Ichigo. What happens is like the bystander's just there, right? And then Ichigo is also watching the fight, and Ichigo just suddenly yells out, "What are you guys doing?" And the reason he yells out that is because he's the only one who hasn't seen Aizen's sword. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but like he's the only one who hasn't seen Aizen's sword. The reason that's important is because Aizen's ability is the translated version. I'm not gonna try and pronounce the Japanese one. The translated version is called complete hypnosis. So if you see the sword, Aizen can manipulate all 5 of your senses to see, do, hear, smell, taste, pretty much anything he wants you to see, right? So this whole time, they he basically swapped the likeness of himself and this other bystander at the start of the fight. So like this entire time they were like beating on this little girl, and Aizen was fooling them into thinking they were fighting him.
What?
So
What?
so after he gets quote unquote stabbed through the chest, the bystander like stands up and just like one shots 2 of the captains, and then he undoes the spell. But one shot everyone.
Wait, this
After-
random
after-
bystander just took out 2
Well, it was-
captains?
Well, because it was Aizen, but like it was, yeah, it was Aizen. Hold on, that's where the meme came from. Since
When were you
hold
under
on.
the impression that you weren't under my Kyoko Suigetsu?
Okay,
Yeah,
basically,
'cause, like he casted it at the start of the fight.
basically, this is what everyone sees.
Oh, he got it. Yeah, he got the anime version. There you go.
That's what actually happened.
Yeah. Look.
Ooh.
Look.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew it was gonna happen.
I have made a mistake. So yeah, that's one flex, by the way. That's just one flex. I guess that's 2 flexes if you count Soifan. Anyway, my favorite flex is at the very end of the series. We're gonna see this animated next year, so whatever. Basically, shenanigans happen. Aizen becomes immortal. Don't ask, just accept it. He just becomes immortal, right? So
he
they
just
end up-
becomes immortal.
At one
So
point
they
in
end up
time, were you
having-
under the impression that I wasn't going to become immortal?
They end up having to imprison him, right? So he's imprisoned for basically the entire, like, almost the entire final arc of the series. And the main villain of the final arc, his name is Yuha. You might have heard one of us say it at one point.
Me like 6
Yeah,
times.
Ewok.
Yeah. He
I like
has
Yuha.
his ability is basically future sight requiem. So he's able to see every like possible outcome of the future. Like, if you've seen Sign Gate, he's able to see all the world lines. Pretty much. He can see any possible outcomes of like anything that can happen pertaining to him, right? So so you would think that since he's able to see that, he would be able to see himself become hypnotized. That makes sense, right? Except
Yeah.
no, because Aizen is a Chad. And it turns out, like at the end of the series, you find out he was under Aizen's hypnosis for like. Although Yuha's pretty broken, so he didn't do anything crazy with the hypnosis. But like that's without spoiling too much, that's the reason. That's half the reason why he loses at the end. Aizen is too much of a Chad.
Yep.
Aizen's great.
He was hypnotized for how long?
You keep cutting out.
Yeah, he asked
Hypnotized
for how long.
Like how long does the hypnosis last?
No, like
For how
the
long
guy
was
who sees the
Ewok?
future, right?
How long was he hypnotized for?
Yeah, like how did Aizen beat him or whatever?
It's stupid. Cause it's not stupid, but I'm saying it's stupid because Aizen is just broken. He literally Yuha went to visit Aizen in his prison, and that's when Aizen put the hypnosis on him. So he's hypnotized for like over a week, I think. I don't remember the timeline of the Blood War, but it's a while. For like hundreds of chapters, he's under like
Yeah, it's crazy.
minor hypnosis.
What
It's
the
nuts.
fuck?
It's ridiculous.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
that's Aizen.
that's Aizen.
Fuck that took a while.
We spent
I have
a lot.
another speech for another character.
I wonder
Yeah.
who.
That's 14. I have another speech later on for another character, so I'm not gonna drag this on any longer. Anyway, 13 is from Dragon Ball. It's the highest Dragon Ball character. It's not Goku. Shut up.
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
There you go. Jeez.
You know, I can accept that.
Probably self-explanatory. Probably the best written one. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, we know. I mean, it's
I've always
Vegeta,
been a
we know him.
Vegeta stan.
Fuck Goku.
I think it really.
Oh dang! He's cool. He's funny. Especially this Moro arc, this manga arc, he's been pretty good. Like I think that's shown his development better than anything since the Buu saga. I really like
Yeah,
what
I
Toei
think,
has
like-
been doing with him right now.
Yeah.
I think you kind of need a Blue Saga to really complete the character because,
Yeah,
like,
you do.
in Super, he doesn't go anywhere.
He has like a couple moments in the Tournament of Power, and like that's it.
But no,
I
but
mean-
like that's why the Buu saga I think is like kind of like.
Oh no, here we go. The Buu saga stand rolls
Let
in.
me explain.
Finds his time to shine.
That
finally.
that let me explain so it's so much like
I mean,
Naxtaku.
we let you stand Jiren, so you know the least you could do is.
Go
let
ahead,
me-
go
let
ahead,
me
go ahead,
stand
go
my
ahead.
Buu
Go
saga,
off,
okay?
King, go off.
Listen, Vegeta is 100% my favorite Dragon Ball character. So like
Mhm.
that's why the Buu saga kind of like does a lot for me because Vegeta had so many good moments in that saga, from sacrificing himself to try and destroy Majin Buu, to which he even failed, to coming back, to fighting from the afterlife and stalling for Goku so he could charge his Spirit Bomb or whatever, and then admitting and succumbing to the fact that Goku will be better than him at the end of the fight. He says, "You are stronger than me, Kakarot." Like he makes like a full circle from wanting power from Babidi to defeat him, to not defeating him in order to save his son and his wife and even Kakarot, to dying.
You know
because of
he's
that.
a Vegeta fan because he just called Goku Kakarot.
Shut up, bro. Damn, I really did that, huh?
Shut up, Kakarot.
To
Say Kakarot.
I just realized that, yo, that shit's sitting with me. Dude, you know how big of a Vegeta fan I was when I was 3? 3.
I styled my hair like
I was Vegeta for Halloween. Everyone was like a fucking ladybug and a bear. No, bro, I was fucking Vegeta.
Vegeta. You
It's actually
fucked
kinda like-
Vegeta? No lie.
I am the Prince of all Halloween.
I was the Prince of Pizza, bro. But yeah, like going from
princess?
that to like wanting power to beat Goku, even going under Babidi's spell, which he wasn't even under the spell to begin with. He just did it for the amp. And then fighting, technically winning, even though it was, a little shady business there, Jeets, but it's okay. Redeems himself a little bit, kills Boo, almost kills Boo. Trying to protect his son, whatever. Gets brought back from the dead. Does whatever he can to save the Earth, which is now his home. And then finally, at the end, seeing, Goku fight Kid Buu in the Planet of the Kais, I believe it was.
Yeah.
To just seeing them combat and finally accepting the fact that Goku is stronger than him. Like that whole saga there, it was all Vegeta.
Actually.
Aside from that, Buu Saga still sucks though, my dude.
Listen, that's just a take. that it's probably a cold take.
Dude, they literally did my boy Deborah dirty.
Oh yeah,
They
got so
did him so dirty. Demon King
Vegeta,
literally
Vegeta.
has a fight. Is like, hey, you know what? Let's make Vegeta one of our. He looks pretty cat. After that, they never get to fight him again, and he just gets.
Whatever. Listen, I'm a Vegeta stan. I like the Buu Saga because they did my boy good. That's all.
Vegeta carries that arc super hard. Also, thank you so much for that rant because it allowed my voice to rest.
What do
You're
you
welcome.
know of meaningless?
Well,
Number 13, Vegeta. Nice. Anyway, number 12 is the. I had to move him down because I actually felt I overrated him a bit. So he's the last Naruto character.
Naruto.
Right? Is it
Might not be
Madara?
Naruto. I know he's not on the
Is-
list, right?
It's
He-
gotta
he's
be
not.
Oh, it's
Madara.
Jiraiya.
Wait, what?
It's Jiraiya. What? Not Jiraiya. Is it Gara?
Sakura. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? I'm posting it just for that. It's Itachi.
Itachi. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Oh,
Itachi
man.
deserves it.
Itachi.
Itachi 100%
Oh,
deserves
oh
it.
God.
Time for that
man.
can of worms.
Itachi is broken. Can we just talk about that? Every Uchiha is fucking nuts.
Gohan.
Nigga, the Sharingan is so broken. Like,
Go ahead and
three-
explain how
no, no,
broken he is while my
the-
voice rests. I have to gather my thoughts on Itachi's backstory.
The
So,
Sharingan,
okay,
the Sharingan
let
is so
me-
broken. No character with a Sharingan is lower than 18 on this list.
Obito. Well, I mean, a kid Obito. Obito sucks.
He doesn't count. He's a cunt.
So yeah,
Excuse
Itachi.
me, give me
if
a
you think
second.
any Naruto character really had it rough, get it out of here. If you think
I
any
love
Naruto character before had it rough, Itachi probably had it rougher.
Mm.
He was essentially forced to murder his entire village.
Yeah. Oh well, we're just skipping right to the meat.
Yeah,
and
we're going
potatoes.
straight to the potatoes here.
So so my God. So the reason that happened is, oh boy, I don't know if you remember. I mentioned some dude that was able to implant like 10 Sharingan into one of his arms.
Because of Hashirama cells.
Yeah.
That's Danzo, by the way.
Yeah, his name was Danzo. He was like one of the advisors to the third Hokage before the series started, and he was like, these Uchiha over here, they're one, they're kind of broken. Two, they're kind of unruly. They're kind of isolated. They kind of do their own thing. I don't really trust them all too much, and which is fair, honestly, because the Uchiha's track record is like Madara, who pretty much damn near destroyed the entire world, and it took Hashirama to stop him. Like Madara had the nine tails at one point. He was about to mess everything up. So Danzo's like, "Dad, well, I'm not letting that happen again. I have to protect my village."
By the way,
Yeah.
Danzo is the leader of the Anbu Black. He's like the coordinator for the Anbu Black Ops, which is
Secret
like,
Service. pretty much.
basically the secret service for ninjas. And Itachi
Yeah.
is the youngest. Was I think the youngest member of the Anbu Black Ops.
He got it when he
ever-
was like 13 or
13 years
Oh my
old.
God.
He was a member of the secret service corps of ninja.
something. Stupid strong.
Like he was retarded strong.
Oh,
And in
So Danzo
collaboration with
yeah.
Hiruzen and Danzo, they had to orchestrate a plot in order to get rid of the Uchiha because they wanted to get rid of the whole Madara situation. Like they wanted to make sure that the Madara situation never happens again.
Never. Right. So
Wait, so he was on board with this, or
So
He really didn't have a choice.
I'll explain. So Itachi catches wind of this, right? And at first, no, he was not on board with it at first. He takes the news back to his village, and the village is like, "What the hell? They're gonna wipe us all out!" So, including like his father, like everybody, like he took it to the head. So the head is like, "Okay, they're not gonna change their mind. Danzo is not gonna change his mind. He wants to protect the village. Understandable motivations. Kind of a dickish way to go about it, but yeah, there's no avoiding it. This fight is coming." So the Uchiha say they're going to stage a coup. They're going to kill Danzo, maybe kill the third Hokage while they're at it, just so there's nobody in like who's gonna come after them. Because at this point, the third Hokage, by the way, is like the strongest person in the world. He could probably solo the Uchiha. Maybe.
He's
Maybe.
he's
Yeah,
like
he's
Hiruzen
broken.
is so broken,
Oh, man.
broken.
Hiruzen,
He is
think about,
literally
like,
probably the
Hiruzen-
strongest ninja like in the world at that time. Like
Yeah, he
no
is.
question.
Like, think about it like this, right? Hashirama was thought of like the first Hokage, the one who gathered all the tail beasts and tamed every single one of them. He got the nickname God of Shinobi, right? Then
Yeah.
Hiruzen comes along as the third Hokage, and in his prime, he took the nickname from Hashirama.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Also,
Him the God of Shinobi.
Sarutobi Hiruzen knows every single jutsu.
The hidden
Every
leaf, yeah.
single hidden leaf jutsu. He knows it
can
all.
use
Yeah, he learned all. That's
He
why.
is
That's why
the
Orochimaru
avatar
was
of
upset.
ninja.
he can I can
knew I
use
liked
all
him.
5 chakra natures.
Yeah, he has earth styles, he has wind style, he has fire style, water style, he has the Reaper fucking Death Seal, which is insane, bro.
He
my
can
God, he's
summon a
popping
fucking
off.
monkey.
He can summon a monkey who no one cares about.
Actually, nobody cares
Nobody
about
cares
Emma.
about that fucking monkey. I don't even know his name. What's his
Enma.
name?
Emma.
Enma. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
What even happens? to
Bro,
the
bro.
monkey?
All right, so you watch this fight.
I don't
Max.
know.
Yeah.
Orochimaru versus Hiruzen on the top of the
On the roof.
Chunin exam. He reanimates the first and second Hokage, and we already went over how the first Hokage was considered the god of Shinobi.
I should mention they were nerfed because the vessels
Yes,
he used
the-
to summon
the-
them
the-
was shit. But
The
still, they're the
reanimation,
first and second Hokage.
the
But they still
reanimation
have
jutsu
infinite
like halves their
chakra,
power.
though, right? Anyway, so like,
It's something like that. And Hiruzen took them both on when he was like 85,000 years old. He is an old fucking man with a giant scroll, and he's beating them with a giant scroll. One that was considered the god of all shinobi, casually not in his prime.
And his little racist brother.
His little racist brother. Yes.
The CEO of racism himself.
Actually, though. Actually.
Okay,
You're
we're getting
welcome.
way off
You're
topic. We're getting
welcome.
way off topic. I just
Yeah.
wanted to rant about Sarutobi because he's so fucking
Yeah,
strong.
Sarutobi's. Yeah, he's
Was it with,
ridiculous.
like, old-
So that's why they wanted to.
what?
That's why they wanted to take out Danzo and Sarutobi too, because like Sarutobi would have just bodied all of them, right? So, so freaking, I don't remember how word got out, but eventually Danzo got wind that the Uchiha are going to try and take him out, right? So he's like, he uses this opportunity. He's like, aha, the Uchiha, they're no good. We gotta build a wall. We gotta take them all out. Gotta get them all out.
Danzo is Trump.
Pretty much. So
We gotta
He-
His
build a
face
wall.
looks like him.
Danzo's just
Freaking
like
eat-
wall.
wall.
Izanami.
Itachi is the only Uchiha in the armor, right? So Danzo, he's like, Itachi, I summon you hither. He's like, Itachi, I hear you're gonna stage a coup. Itachi's like, oh fuck, because there's no point in hiding at this point, right? So Danzo presents him with a choice. He said, you can either go through with this, lose, because Sarutobi is going to beat all your asses. You know he's going to beat all your asses. At least Itachi knows this, right? Or you yourself have to go and kill your entire clan. And the only reason that this is like a debate for Itachi is because yes, he's loyal to the Uchiha, but I had to cough. But he's also like he's loyal to the village too. Like he doesn't want to involve bystanders. He's pretty pragmatic. He says he's a pacifist, but like he only fights as much as needed. He doesn't do overkill at all. He doesn't really enjoy the fighting. He does it because he sees that that's the best way to achieve peace. Ironically, because this is the ninja world and everybody's a dick, which is kind of true, right? So he gives Itachi this ultimatum: either come fight Sarutobi and lose, or Itachi, you go and kill your entire clan. The rest of the village is saved. Everybody else, other than your clan, other than your family, like is at peace, right? Itachi's like, crap. Okay, I'll do it, but let me spare Sasuke. And Danzo's like, all right, just kill everybody except Sasuke. So Itachi,
What could go wrong?
yeah.
What could
So
go wrong?
Fast forward, Sasuke kills Danzo.
well, yeah, Sasuke kills Danzo in part 2. That's whatever.
That's whatever.
So yeah,
But like,
Itachi
yeah.
goes and kills his entire clan, right? God, this got expanded on in the manga too. This dude went through so much. So like Itachi had a girlfriend at the time, right? This kind of off topic, but still.
Oh, I
Not
didn't
really.
know
Wait,
this.
he did?
Yeah. So you didn't even know this? Then I'll talk about it. So he had a girlfriend, right? Actually, no, it was a novel that expanded on this. He had a girlfriend, and
Oh.
right before he killed his girlfriend, he used Tsukiyomi on his girlfriend. And the way Tsukiyomi works is it puts you into this like accelerated time field where you can like experience like 72 hours in like a second or something. So what he did is he used like this augmented Tsukiyomi on his girlfriend, put her into a dream state, and he gave her like a full life of happiness in the span of like a second.
Oh.
Right, and she like comes out of it like right before he's about to kill her, and she tells him thank you, and then Itachi kills her. It was very sad. Itachi is
Yeah.
very sad. It sucks. And then he goes off and kills the rest of his clan except Sasuke.
And then Sasuke
And
does his thing, gets
yeah,
angry.
that's why, of course, Sasuke doesn't know what the heck is going on. All he sees is Itachi killing everybody, and that's why he swears
Keep in
revenge
mind,
on.
Sasuke is like 7 or 8 years old at this time.
Yeah,
Jesus.
the
He's like-
ninja
he's
war
like
is
a tiny
really
little-
bad.
He's like, yeah.
And then you fast forward to part 2, and you get to the Itachi versus Sasuke fight. Itachi is very sick. He's
Still-
like very, very sick.
He's
Figuratively
sick.
Going
He's like
and-
blind.
literally on death's door, going blind. His Sharingan is like crap, and he still has to sandbag versus Sasuke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, so Itachi has 2 weapons, right? 2 very,
Oh,
very
oh,
powerful
oh,
weapons.
Yes, this.
So we have the Yada mirror. We're gonna start with the Yada mirror.
It's you know this. It's a distilled water shield.
It's
That's
chrono
exactly-
lock. It
It's a
reflects
distilled
any
water shield.
attack. And then he has the Tosca blade. The Tosca
that
blade
do?
being a weapon that literally doesn't miss and one
It
shots
just-
everything.
What?
It doesn't one shot everything. It just seals you.
Yeah,
Like he basically okay. Long story short, Orochimaru like kind of sealed himself inside Sasuke, and half the reason in part two, and half the reason that Itachi wanted to fight Sasuke was to draw Orochimaru out and get him out of Sasuke. So this same broken Orochimaru that took like the third Hokage to beat in part one. Eventually, Itachi brings him out of Sasuke, so because like Sasuke's super weak, Orochimaru finds like this is like the perfect time to take over Sasuke's body. He comes out, Itachi just stabs him with a Sasuke blade and seals him. Like
that's it.
Nigga
Done.
gets
Bye-bye.
one tapped. Fucking one tapped.
Well, he does not even
Gets one back.
hesitate.
Are we?
Also, I think we need to talk about Kirin for a second. Is that
Kirin?
Sasuke?
That's Sasuke.
That's Sasuke. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Sasuke. Screw that guy.
Yeah, we don't gotta talk about Sasuke. Yeah, fuck that nigga.
But yeah,
Fun.
Yeah, he
Itachi's
has
life
Yadamir
sucks.
and Tosca blade. Tsukiyomi, which we already went over. I think he has his own version of Amaterasu. I'm not exactly sure.
No, it's just basic Amaterasu.
Just
Yeah.
basic Amaterasu.
Basically,
Sasuke.
they're-
And then he has the Susanoo on top of that. And Itachi's Susanoo is insane.
His Susanoo is basically, you know, like the big flame spirit thing that Lucas summoned versus Ultron. It's just that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Versus Ultra.
he has all
I
of that.
I heard.
The most unparalleled genjutsu to ever grace this fucking verse.
Not true. Not true. I sorry, not
Oh,
true. Because
well,
Obito's Genjutsu is
Yeah,
confirmed the
yeah,
best in
yeah,
the
yeah,
series.
yeah. Forgot about him. We'll get to him later because he's in top 10.
Hey Maka.
He
He's not in
Obito
top
isn't
10
on
either.
the.
He's in top 10. He's in top 10. Shut your fucking mouth. He's there.
You can make your list and you can put it in top 10.
I
buddy.
fucking will.
He will. This is the last Naruto.
What's up,
character,
Akron?
It is the last.
What the
episode.
fuck?
How do you like that meme I gave?
This is the last one. Oh
Spider
my
Verse.
god. Spider memes. What is this?
It's above flares.
Oh, it's Bleach.
I have a feeling.
This is basically what happened. Yes.
All right, can we?
Yeah, that's Itachi. Yeah, we can move on.
There's probably so much more to talk about Itachi, honestly.
Yeah, let's just
But
try and
I
cut it
couldn't
back
hear
a little
that.
bit because that and Aizen's took like forever.
Kakashi's took longer than both of them.
Really? Oh yeah,
Because-
like,
because
he
we
went
had to
off
talk about-
tangent.
We had to literally talk about Obito in order to get to Kakashi because it was actually super important.
Alright, it's
understand
okay
Kakashi.
because the. What the hell? Yeah.
By the way, we're at 2.5 hours.
Nice.
Jesus.
Oh, shite.
Let's
Well,
move.
next one is the last Yu Yu Hakusho character. Y'all know
And
who it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Here
Let's
he
get
comes. Here he comes.
Yusuke Urameshi.
Ooh.
Lol, JK. It's actually just
It's Yusuke.
Yep.
I don't have to explain Jack.
You don't have to, but I would like to hear it.
He's look, like entertainment value is up there with Joseph Joestar, except he's excellently written. Pretty much. Hold on,
Anyway, moving on.
where
Not
is it?
gonna
There
ruin
it
my
is.
day.
Yo, that guy got some fat nuts.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Smells. This place smells like ass.
Probably the most human shonen protagonist I've ever seen by a huge margin. Super relatable, especially like his whole bout with his personal laziness and like owning up to like the power and the responsibility he had during the Dark Tournament, and then his heritage during Chapter Black, and then his own personal motivations during the Demon World Tournament. There's so much that goes on with him over the course of the series, and,
Yeah.
and they're all like
Development.
they're all really real struggles. Like it's super
Like real
relatable,
struggles, but like in super like
Yeah.
fantasy.
It's the same way that the Chimera Ant arc is just a philosophical discussion with like anime on the side. Yusuke is basically a character study with anime on the side.
Yes, very good character.
Definitely my favorite
Super.
protagonist ever. Also, Justin
I've
Cook is a
got
legend.
some.
But just shy of top 10.
Just,
Oh.
if I watched this in the sub, he wouldn't be this high. Justin Cook did so much justice to this guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Super dope. Anyway, okay. I promise this next character is the last speech. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Who is this? Who is this?
Super underrated. I'm not gonna say underrated, underappreciated, because the people who have watched this series know exactly how good it is. I wish it was more popular. It is the best character from the series by like a wide margin. At least I think. I'd have to reread the manga. However, anyway, all of you, I think only like 2 or 3 people here have watched the series, but everybody knows who this character is. Here we go. The character of the series is Magi the Labyrinth.
Ah!
And the character
Yes,
is
sir! Yes, sir!
There, he's the gatekeeper of top 10.
I was waiting for this all day, dude!
Let me explain why Sinbad is an absolute madman.
I don't think you have to, but go on! Entertain me!
So, in the
I'm
Magi
sweating!
universe, there is basically this idea of power. I already said this with Hunter x Hunter, but Magi does it kind of.
You know what's so funny?
But-
When you were talking about the power, the first person I thought about was Sinbad.
Sinchad. It's
Sinbad
Sinchad.
is like one of the representations of that in Magi. So Magi has the same idea of power as Hunter x Hunter, kind of like political power, social power, literal power. However, it's like more pervasive in Magi than Hunter x Hunter, because Hunter x Hunter has a bunch of different other themes. So that's kind of the main theme of Magi, pretty much. It's to the point where literal power, like the power of the characters, their strongness, is like intertwined with the political system. Generally, like the kings of the kingdoms, stuff in Magi tend to be the most powerful characters in the series. It's worth noting, Magi is kind of like an isekai world. It's not an isekai at all, but like the setting is kind of
Isekai-ish.
they don't have phone. Yeah, they don't have phones. They don't have much electricity. It's kind of like Middle Eastern and stuff.
Like a
There's stuff like
D&D
that.
kind of thing, except with like
Yeah, D&D.
yeah, D&D.
So
Sure.
yeah, how do I set this up correctly? Okay, so the reason I say that is basically the way you gain power in Magi, both literal power and political power, is by training, obviously. However, if you are a pretty swole dude and you like cobble together a little D&D party, you can go into what are called dungeons. There are a bunch of dungeons throughout the world, and the guardians of each of these dungeons are called jinns. They are literally freaking Aladdin genies. They're all blue. They all have like their specific powers. They all do different things. And if your party beats a jinn, one of your party members can seal the jinn with consent. The jinn can like agree to be sealed inside one of the party members' weapons, and that weapon becomes what is called a metal vessel. Basically, your like your sword or your axe or your cleaver or whatever be like gains the power of that jinn, right?
Cool.
So, um, right, and if you train with it, it's kind of like getting a spirit in empowered, right? That's probably the best way I can explain it. You get the metal vessel, you train with it, yada yada, you get stronger, and the final level, pretty much for like all Jin users in Magi, is I was about to say a duality. It's called a Jin equip. It is literally a duality. You kind of like take on the like the appearance of your Jin, kind of, sorta. You take on the like the powers of the Jin. You get super buff. Ooh, rolls. Oh shit,
Epic.
nice. So yeah, you get super. I just noticed they all muted themselves. Yeah, you get super swole, right?
Oh, okay. It's just saying
So
you then.
yeah. Oh, he did. Oh, the last 2 days were on me. So you get super swole, right? And that's pretty much like the strongest skill for like any metal user is their Jin equip. It's like
I
their strongest
got muted.
transformation.
What the fuck?
Really? Oh,
I didn't
Flair
mute
might.
myself.
Oh, Flair might have done that like not on purpose.
I doubt that.
So,
Uh,
um, all that to say, like I said, the strongest characters in the series, like the kings of the kingdoms in the series, are all like they're pretty much all Genie Clip users. They all pretty much have their dualities, right? That's because they're the strongest. They have like the strongest skill in the world.
Right.
There is this dude. This dude. Did I spell it correctly? Yeah, this dude right here. He is one of the, I think, one of the princes of the. Fuck, I don't remember the name of one of the empires.
Co-Empire, I think.
Thank you. The Ko Empire, and he. One thing that's not like empowered, you can have multiple gens. You're not limited to one spirit. So Cohen has 3 gens, and he has 3 different Jin equips, right? I'm talking about him for a reason. Don't worry. He has 3 different Jin equips, right? He has like a fire one. He has like I think a water one or something else. So he can like do different combos with his Jin equip stuff,
Fire,
right?
water, air, and dirt.
Yeah. He's like pretty much one of the most broken characters in the world. The Ko Empire, like the strongest empire in the world, right? So he's pretty busted. Let me get a picture real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh, he's pretty busted. He's one of the strongest. All right, he's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm listening.
You know how Sinbad in the original Arabian Nights mythos is like a Sinbad of the 7 seas?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has 7
Seven.
jinns. He has 7 of them, and he has mastered jinn,
But that's not.
7 spirits, and 7 maxed out dualities.
Flex. And iron just like
What was that sound?
I don't know.
I think that was iron
Oh.
just
God fucking damn it!
I hate
What happened?
Monster Hunter.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So okay, but really quick. There's you know Rathalos, right?
Unfortunately.
There's a female. There's a smaller female version which is called the Raytheon. Okay, it's green. There are subspecies. One subspecies is the pink Raytheon. The pink Raytheon is the biggest, crustiest sand in her vagina having its bitch in the entire series.
What?
Oh, no.
Can we
Biggest
get back
cunt.
to this, please?
Sorry, I was just really angry because that thing two shot me with 2 moves in 2 seconds, and I literally could not block. I have a
Good
big ass
God,
shield.
Good.
Good. It's okay. We're stalling for Flair to come back. I don't know what I'm doing. He's probably on the phone or something. So yeah, Sinbad has 7 gens. He has 7 jinn
7.
equips. He's really strong. Yeah, he's ridiculous. Just for that alone, he'll probably be really high because he's just a really cool character in general. But I like his psychology a lot because he has a prequel,
Oh yeah.
6 episode special or something, and he's the king of the Senju Empire, right? Like in the actual Magi show. but
Yeah.
the prequel shows how he got there, and he was pretty much a shonen protagonist. Like he was like super idealistic. He had this idea of what he wanted to do with the world. His his thing was he saw how the world works. He saw how power was like so pervasive, and how if you wanted to do anything in the world, you couldn't get there through just like convincing people. You needed to convince people through some sort of power. So he decided, I am going to get so strong that I'm not going to rule through fear. I am going to create a kingdom once I get so strong. And this kingdom is going to grow because I am going to be so strong that everybody is going to want me on their side. And that actually worked. I remember like towards the end, he goes and like quote unquote invades this empire, and he goes and fights the king, who's like decently strong himself, right? And he shows off his power,
Oh
and he
yeah,
says, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." And he's like, "I'm not here to threaten you. I'm gonna." He like lets him know what his plan is, and the king is like, "Okay, hell yeah, I want your power on my side." So he like that's how he brings like one of the kingdoms under his Sindri empire, and just keeps going and going and going, and that's how he gets to the point where he is in the actual series. However, in the actual series, he is no longer a shonen protagonist. He is super jaded. He's like gone full politician to the point where like the main characters run into him and his friend, and at two different points in the series, like when they're alone, like both of them warn the main characters not to trust each other. So like Sinbad's friend says never trust Sinbad, and Sinbad says like never trust that other dude. It's like it gets crazy, and that's not even the manga. I'm not even gonna get into the manga because
Bro,
we've
don't
got
even get started with the manga. Oh my god.
yeah, oh, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just got
Sinbad's awesome.
interrupted. Are we still talking about Sinbad? Or...
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Okay, alright. There's one more thing about Sinbad. I gotta talk about one of his flexes. So, towards the end of the series, right? There's TLDR. There's this huge war, and what happens? It's a war between like the two biggest empires in the world, right? The Ko Empire and the Lim Empire. And there's this little kingdom called Magnostadt that gets caught in the middle.
Yes.
Magnostadt is where one of the main characters, his name is Aladdin, was doing his magic training because he's a mage. He's like this decently strong mage,
He's
right?
learning how
That
to do the magic.
He's learning how to do the magic, and Magnostadt basically, like in the middle of the war, they're like, okay, screw this, we're not going to.
that was so well timed, bro.
What happened?
I don't know. Someone banged something, and then he was like, "Screw that," and it happened at the same time.
Anyway,
that.
so
Wait, Iron, were
Magnostadt
you
gets caught
raging in
in the middle.
Smash?
No, Monster
no,
Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
still.
Next.
That was so good.
So anyway, Magnostadt. Long story short, Magnostadt has these kind of like this terrorist organization because every end shonen needs a terrorist organization, right? Alphamen. So the terrorist organization, they basically summon.
The
I'll make
symbol
this
of
simple.
pizza cats.
They summon the devil. Like
They
what
summon-
amounts to the devil. Like,
Yeah,
Boop.
Yeah.
big tentacle monster from the sky.
yeah, big gray tentacle monster, and the tentacle monster comes
Tentacle?
down, and it's like
Testicle.
Monster. Testicle monster.
tentacle, sure, tentacle, right? So it comes down, and it's broken to the point where the Ko and the Lim Empire are like, okay, no, we have to get rid of this thing. Choose. So they work together. You see, there's like this super awesome fight. It's my favorite final fight to any season of anime I've ever seen. You have the Empire coming in. They're like attacking the medium. Ren Cohen comes in. He can't do crap. Alibaba, the other main character, he comes in with his Ginny Crip. He doesn't do crap. Aladdin comes back from Magnostadt with his shiny new shonen protagonist powers. He doesn't do crap. They're all just getting bodied by the devil, right? And it gets to the point where like Aladdin's like, dude, stop. Just please stop. He's like pleading for them to stop the devil. And then when all hope seems lost, out of nowhere, the clouds part with a heavenly light, as if God himself is descending from
Except
heaven.
it's in reverse because the clouds actually condense together and a giant lightning bolt rains down from the sky and Sinbad comes down.
And all you hear is Bararak Saika.
One attack.
pretty
One
much-
attack. Just wipes out
pretty
the
much
devil.
was God. Oh, it didn't wipe him out. It just like it did mad damage. Like it did more damage
It's
than
so
anybody else.
This man
so
did
far.
more than
then-
like 2 empires and some in one attack.
That comes down with like dragon in his strongest Jin equip, and Sinbad's theme starts playing. I think everybody's heard like the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
That
I'm
one.
pretty sure I've heard it.
Oh yeah, it's four.
You do
four
realize that
princes.
this, you know what this means, right? We have to play the song. It's imperative.
Wait, what do we have to do?
Give me a second.
We have to what?
Oh no,
We
he's playing.
we need to
So
play the song.
Oh,
Um,
the song.
Yeah, he like hits the medium with like his spells, right? And Aladdin's like, oh my god, it's Sinbad! And all the terrorists are like, oh fuck, it's Sinbad! And Sinbad comes down and they're like, oh, he just used his strongest attack, he must be out of mana. Or like out of energy. Except he's not, because he launches another one right after again. And there's another huge explosion.
And I'm pretty sure that wasn't even his strongest attack.
No, I was about to bring that up. He uses a stronger attack later on.
oh my
That's awesome.
god.
I don't know. Sinbad is just broken, dude. He's like Ray on ultra steroids because he's a Ray user.
Also, he's so busted that basically the game said, and then the game, because he got at one point when he got his seventh Jin, all the Jins were like, Sinbad,
But
okay,
you
listen
can't
here.
have any more.
Bring that up, dude. It wasn't even the Jins. It was like basically the literal United Nations came together and like, yo, stop.
Bro,
You
this
have
guy's got too
7.
many super packs right now, dude.
They were like, they banned Sinbad from the game, pretty much. Like
He's
and
Brawl
your
Meta Knight.
entire kingdom.
He is Brawl Meta Knight,
like-
Smash 4 Bayo, Melee Fox, 64 Pika, and whatever the fuck you decide that Ultimate's best character is, combined into one and then multiplied by 600.
Basically, the nations
Sinbad
came
is-
together, went to the Jin, were like, I gotta make an announcement. Sinbad is a bitch ass motherfucker. He took all 7 Jin. That's right. He went to the took
There's
my
like 30,
fucking Jin.
okay, just to be clear, there are like 32 different Jin.
Can we,
There's a lot. But
32?
Sinbad
Okay.
has a majority of them, and he wears them like bling.
Yeah.
I think for the rest of the
Sinbad's
top
first.
10,
But
we're gonna
anyway,
find a
that's
song that relates to them and play it in the background. I think that's fitting. Because
I'm
we
gonna
are
do that.
recording this after all. We might as well make it interesting.
Yeah. Alright, fine. Alright, so anyway, Sinbad is the last character in A+ tier. So that rounds out A+.
Alright.
Now,
It's time
now
for
I
this.
won't spend. There's not gonna be a speech for any of them. I do consider every single character in this list to be excellently written. They are not ranked based on their writing, but I think they are all really well done. So number 9,
oh
It's
no.
and you know who it is.
Is it light freaking Yabagi?
Oh no, I said it's from Gurren Lagann.
Oh,
You're-
Gurren Lagann,
you're
then
cutting
yeah.
out a
Is
little
it
bit when you
Kamina?
said it.
Kamina.
Mm-hmm.
Carried up.
Aniki!
To make this short, Gurren Lagann Spiral Power, it is literally Spider-Link. They start off the series like piloting mechs, and they end the series by throwing galaxies at each other like shuriken. Spiral
Oh my
Power
God.
is ridiculous. So, yeah, that's Gurren Lagann. Pretty much every one of the main characters, well, almost all of them, have like a decent amount of spiral power, right? That's why they're able to ascend to these ridiculous heights of. And that's like half the reason why they can believe in themselves as much as they do. However, Kamina does not have a lot of spiral power. The reason, and it's funny because like he was the original leader of like the main team in this
Of Team
series before
Gurren
the main
or
character Simon. Yeah, before Simon became the main leader, before he grew up, Kamina was like his idol. However, Kamina's blessing and curse is he's able to bring out 120% out of everybody around him just through his charisma and through the way he's able to inspire everybody, even though he himself is pretty weak. And I am not going to spoil what happens in episode 7 and what he does because that is something that nobody ever deserves to have happen to them, but it was amazing. If you ever want to watch Gurren Lagann, there you go. Kamin is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Acker agrees too. Number 8 is this is one of the newer additions too. I knew he was.
Yeah, funny joke. Come on, Iron.
What am I supposed to do?
What are you
Die.
doing?
Just die. Accept death. Next.
Number 8 is one of the newer additions. I knew he was gonna be kind of high, but I didn't think he was gonna be this guy. The enemy is Code Geass. The character.
Let's go, Jeremiah!
Go on. You ruined it. Anyway, it's freaking Lelouch, this guy. How do I put this?
yeah,
like,
I'm sitting this one out.
Renato, this is again.
Le
Code
Douche di
Geass.
Britannia.
Very Britannia.
He did everything he did for his sister. He's not a dick.
He's a good guy. He's a very good guy.
Pizza Hut.
He Pizza Hut. Basically,
Why are you
his,
at soup?
I'm trying to figure out how to make this short.
I'm buying clothes.
Basic,
At soup.
yeah,
We just get the
is
spider skit that I
basically
copied and pasted from Purple Eyes.
just point this kid. Basically in Code Geass, the entire world is like taken over by what Britannia. We'll just call it Britannia. It's basically like this super empire.
It is Britannia.
Lelouch is one of the. He's like an exiled prince, pretty much. Like he was
He's one
supposed
of
to
the
be
many
dead.
daughters and one of the many sons
The
and
king.
daughters of the king, Charles.
Of the king, yeah. But
He has a lot
some
of
stuff
wives.
happened. Yeah, some stuff happened. A coup happened, and his mother was killed by the Empire. So he was like, from a young age, he was like, okay, eventually I'm going to destroy Britannia. Both those guys. Because they are pretty evil, all things considered. Like the king basically made all his children go through a battle royale for like who gets to succeed him on the throne. There's a bunch of crappy stuff that goes on. And initially, Lelouch's like motivation was to like make a better world for his sister, who is blind and can't fuck. That's also
She's got Helen Keller.
Wait, did you just say
Yeah.
light
But
can't
she
fuck?
can hear. That's,
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah. So yeah, that's his initial motivation, and eventually, like, he has like bouts with his morality throughout the entire show of like, oh, I'm going to war with Britannia, but like, how many lives am I prepared to sacrifice, both of like my people and the people on the other side? Like, there's a bunch of stuff that goes on. There's this huge discussion of do the ends justify the means throughout the entire series, and it's pretty good.
Interesting.
And his development is very good. He's very entertaining. He uses his powers in a smart way, and I always appreciate smart characters.
Mhm.
That's
Meanwhile,
always
he's
good
also
side.
friends with Suzaku, who is one of the best soldiers for Britannia.
Suzaku?
I can live entirely on a diet of crayons and lighter fluid.
Not wonderful. Okay, number 7. I'm actually gonna say almost nothing for this character because I'm not gonna spoil this series. It is that good. It is the second best series I have ever seen
I
after
feel like I
Hunter x
know
Hunter.
who this is.
Include-
I,
in-
I,
It is not Death Note. I
What?
rank this series above Death Note. I prefer
What
Death
the-
Note personally, but I think this series is better written. The series is Attack on Titan.
Oh boy. Aaron Yeager.
Yeah, so
oh boy.
this
Nah,
so
I'll leave you to that.
We're just gonna
Wait,
move on.
Next.
yeah, like not right away. This guy right here. Oh shit. This guy. Basically
What a name.
to to not spoil anything, I've never, like, you know how Tagashi is super particular about the way he writes his characters and like the characterization. That's the way
yeah.
Attack on Titan is with his plotting. I've never seen any work of fiction that's as meticulously plotted as this. Like the last like 5 or so chapters, the entire community has been like combing through the early chapters of the series and just like finding stuff that was foreshadowed almost a decade ago, and like the smallest little things, and it's crazy to see play out. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh my god.
Aaron too. Like just like little things that Aaron said at the beginning, like pieces of his character, it's all coming to the forefront now, and it's amazing because he used to be a crappy character. Like no one liked Eren at the start. He was a crap protagonist, like through and through. There was absolutely nothing interesting about him. But
I still don't
to
like
say
him.
this without with, to say this without spoiling anything, he needed to be a bad character in order for the series to get to the point where it is. It sounds weird to say a character needed to be bad, but that was he needed to be the way he is. The way he was for what's happening right now to make sense. So, yeah,
All right.
Interesting.
that's all I got for Aaron. Who's 6? Oh, all right, here we go. All right, everybody's been freaking waiting for this. The series is Death Note.
Oh, I wonder who it is.
L. It's L.
Series. Oh wait, the series is Death Note,
Actually, it might be near.
and the character
I wonder-
is not Light.
Yeah, it's L.
Nerds.
What?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
L.
it's
I
L.
told you, it's L.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not Light. It's L.
Let's go, Ryuk.
He
Take
said, "Let's
the
go."
L. Take the
Um,
L.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a potato chip.
The
Note is
potato
weird.
chip.
Yeah, Death Note is weird because like Light's the protagonist, but he's also a villain. Obviously,
The
he's
villain
a pretty
and-
evil guy.
Villain
He's
protagonist is the term you're looking for.
Yeah, villain protagonist. Thank you. I was trying to think of that. So usually when that happens, you would have the antagonist as like this super good guy, right? But no, that doesn't happen. L is batshit insane. He's nuts. He's like arguably more cynical than Light. Do I want to spoil this?
He likes candy.
Sure, why not? It's to the point where like in the first episode where Light gets the Death Note, he's having like some moral bouts about whether or not to use it and stuff. L eventually gets the Death Note like later on in the series, and the first thing he does is like, okay, we have to test it. And everybody around it is like, what the heck? What do you mean? No, we're not gonna kill people. And L is like, no, we're about to solve the case. I'm going to use this. Like he doesn't have any qualms about it. He just goes for it straight up. So he's really smart. And smart people are cool.
But they're also crazy.
Yeah, they're usually crazy.
There's a price to pay.
That's L. Who's 5? Oh, 5. It's the last One Punch Man character.
Saitama.
Is it Saitama?
Uh,
Okay.
Oh,
It is Saitama.
guy.
I don't think there's much to say that we don't already know.
You would think.
I would, but it depends on like what we know, because on the surface, obviously he's super funny character. Like the gag of just being able to one shot everything is just, it makes no sense in concept, but the execution is awesome, right? So we all laugh at it and stuff, right? But
There is
like
some-
obviously he's super depressed. Like he's
Yeah, 'cause
messed up mentally.
he doesn't get a worthy.
He's very
He's-
poor.
He's
He's
like
borderline
poor,
poverty. Actually, no, he is 100%
That-
poverty.
like to the point where he's gotten to the point.
He's
'Cause-
living in an abandoned city.
Yeah. Because the rent was so low, yeah. Because there's monsters everywhere. He kind of did it to himself, obviously, because before he got broken, he was jaded, and then he found a purpose in life, which was like being the strongest hero and finding a thrill through fights. Like adrenaline was basically his drug, right? And then he got super broken. He abused the drug, and now he can never get a high. So like what he made his purpose for living, he can't get that anymore. And he's just like, that's why he's completely numb all the time. And the entire series so far has just been, at least from a character perspective, his journey has been about like just finding what it is makes him happy at this point. It happened in season 2. It was done better in the manga, but it was in season 2. He was talking to a friend of his, and his name is King. I don't know. He wasn't in season 1.
Yes,
But
King.
I
yeah,
know a
he
little bit
wasn't.
about
He
King.
wasn't in season. Okay, you know about King.
He
So
showed
he was
up in
talking to
season 1,
King.
but he didn't do anything.
He's a weeb.
Oh yeah, he didn't do anything. So he's talking to King, right?
He's a shut
And
your
he's like
otaku
explain.
weeb.
He's like, for the first time in like the series, he's just like pouring his heart out to somebody and just explaining why he feels so crappy. Like he's like, oh, I can't get a thrill anymore. The one thing that I look forward to every day, it just doesn't bring me joy anymore. So King's like, okay, interesting. You focused your entire life on being the strongest hero, and now you got there. You got to the end game. You beat all the super bosses. There's nothing left to do. You got your platinum trophy, right? So instead of focusing on being the strongest hero, why not focus on being the best hero? And it just Saitama almost blue screens because like to him being the strongest hero that is being the best hero. He has like no concept of there being other in his head, at least for him, he has no concept of there being like other facets of heroism that really matter to him. So like
Hmm.
there's a lot of stuff that goes on with him. Not gonna spend too long, but yeah.
I do need a
Super interesting
Man.
character. IMO. Yeah. I like One Punch Man a lot. He's super entertaining to watch. Surprisingly deep series.
Yeah, I mean, because like people just kind of expect it on the surface to just be like kind of a gag series, just because the main character can one punch.
everything,
Anybody.
but there's a lot of
But that-
seriousness to like the whole thing with him. Like what happened with him in or what happened with Tank Top in the first.
Right.
But yeah,
Cool. All right, moving on. Top
Numero
four.
Quattro.
here we go.
We have entered once
I just realized
again
we
the
have-
court of Togashi.
I was about to.
Yeah,
I was
there's
gonna
300
say,
characters left.
Meruem,
Yeah,
Killua,
well.
and probably maybe Netero? Who knows?
Kurapika,
Well, you got
Kurapika,
one of them.
Killua, and Meruem.
Killua is definitely one of them.
Killua
Oh,
has
shit.
to be someone.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
So
Well,
number four. Let me type it out. This dude,
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Zoldyck.
Oh boy.
Pretty much everyone's seen Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Journey to Self-Worth. His relationship with God was amazingly executed. It pretty much covers it. I could go into it, but we've been here a while. Thanks, Flair.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
By the way, I haven't watched it.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry.
Or
But
you.
everyone who's seen Hunter x Hunter, I've talked about it enough. We know
Yeah,
why Killua is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Anyway, number 3, we are exiting the court of Togashi.
We'll be back
There
in
was
a
4
minute.
spots left. Here he is. Here he is.
Light.
Here he is.
Oh my god. Oh.
Oh my god, he's great. Wait, where is it?
It's gotta be the other way. Come on, what are you doing?
Wait, no, stop going back. You pass it? You might have passed it. No, there it is.
Yes,
there-
Zac Efron is
Potato.
potato chips.
So it is. I swapped around Killua, L, and Light so much when I was making this, but I think I'm happy with this. I think L's mentality, like his psychology, is more interesting, but I have problems with him. Like some of the deductions he makes are kind of BS. I like the way Light's 5-head is portrayed more. Like his mental process makes more sense to me.
Also,
Like
he does beat L eventually.
Yeah. Oh.
I think. They in tennis. He beats him in tennis.
Nice save.
Nice save. Nice save.
He beats him in tennis.
Save, nice freaking save.
The ball was about to pass.
I kind of figured anyway.
So yeah, Light's awesome. Death Note is absolutely amazing. I'd recommend it to almost anyone.
Yep, I agree. It is fantastic.
Potato chip.
All right, number 2. Back
Into the.
Here we go. All right, who's number 2?
2. Number 2, Meruya.
Which one?
Get it. Wait, what?
Wow.
Yep.
He's only
Wait, who do you think
second.
was gonna be?
Look at those earlobes.
Hey! I can give him a run for his money.
What is this? Oh my!
Oh my god.
There's always
my-
longer.
What is One Piece?
It's so good.
Yes,
Please watch One Piece.
you can get rid of him now.
Hell no.
Look at those ears.
Please watch the most important parts of One Piece.
That's still too many.
There's a lot to go. There's a lot to go around, but it's very.
You're
much
in quarantine. You have time.
He's got you.
That's not how it works. I still have
That is
classes.
how the Force works.
I still have classes. I still have tests. I don't know what you're
For how
talking about.
long though?
For
Test.
Yeah,
3.
Meruem, right? I was contemplating putting him at number one. I think he's IMO. He's the best written character in the series, but I'll explain why number one is the number
Thus
one spot.
far.
Thus far. Oh my god, it's crazy. Um, he, he's the most interesting character to me because even though he's a villain, he's a critique of the way people use power, like, even in the real world, right? You
Yeah.
have like one of the first interactions with humans he has is he's talking to like this super pompous world leader, and he's like, "Oh, well, in the human world, power is usually like made through connections and bloodlines and privilege, and it's not based on individual ability." And like that defies all logic and all that jazz. And like that's half the reason he wants to destroy humanity, right? So even though he's in a perfect position to use all the power he has, he can basically take over the world whenever he wants. If he gets hit by a nuke, as we saw, he's just going to come back even stronger. So like there's pretty much nothing that can stop him.
Well,
And yet
and the
he
only reason
doesn't.
he was able to survive was because of
It
his
is BS.
yeah, because like if it
I know
weren't
what you're
for
talking about.
everyone giving them his
Yeah,
everyone
yeah, yeah.
basically like spirit bombing him,
Which is what
he
the
would have
Royal
been
Guard is kind of for.
yeah, I
Right.
guess so.
Like the point so he's pretty much like in the position to do almost anything he wants, but he doesn't. Like in contrast to like all the we know the examples we're thinking of, right? The people who just like kind of abuse their power, do whatever they want, make like stupid decisions. Meruem doesn't. He sits back, he thinks, he ponders, and it's to the point where by the time he goes to fight Netro, he's almost completely changed his not almost completely, but like he's come a long way from when he started.
Yeah, because
Like
originally
as humans, we look at
like
like he was gonna like kill her.
yeah, but then like when he fights Nero, he's like, I'll allow your people to live, but like under me. Right. I think that's
Well,
like
one of my
how it
favorite
worked.
lines in one of my favorite lines in the series is he when Meruem is talking to the Royal Guard and he's like, originally I wanted to kill all humans, and I think the literal line is I have changed my mind. Like it's so simple, but like think about it from his perspective, right? He comes into the world, he basically he's basically born on an alien planet. He looks at an alien race and he's like, all this crap y'all are doing is fucking stupid. And in contrast to like almost every shonen protagonist, well, hold on. No, in contrast to almost every shonen antagonist who usually goes through a character change because the protagonist like confronts their ideology, which usually consists of them beating their asses and not actually like challenging their ideology. But instead of that, he comes to that like change of heart completely on his own, like through his own agency, through his own like observation of the world, which doesn't happen that often with even with protagonists because they usually let the world around them and other people like influence them heavily in the way their ideals change. But Meruem does it all on his own.
Like
I really,
God
I really
never
appreciate it.
even
They
God
don't meet.
never even meets or talks to Meruem.
Yep.
There's no interaction between the protagonist of this series and the antagonist of this arc.
That makes no one is supposed to write that. What the fuck?
Like that shouldn't work. That shouldn't have been successful.
But it does.
But it did.
That's
But
insane.
Togashi is
And then freaking Mirim is highlighted even more because all those traits that he hates about rulers and like people in power are highlighted by Parasite in the very next arc. Hunter's so good. Oh my god. Oh dude, it's actually just perfect. Holy shit. Oh, God. Anyway, that's Mirim. I'm done.
That is Meruem, but
wait. So who's number
I'm
one?
done with them.
Kurapika.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. So here he is. Number one.
Old Blondie.
I waffled on this for a while. I actually prefer Mirim as a character, at least for right now. But one, Kurapika is more entertaining right now because him in the section arc has been completely amazing. I can't wait to see what he does once this series finally comes back, if it ever does. And two, this is kind of not fair, But he was basically the template I used for Dryson. Like when I was first making him, I kind of used him as a base, and then I just kind of he
Yeah,
eventually became.
that makes a lot of sense now that I think about
Kind of see it. I did a lot of just like looking into his character and understanding him, and that's why I ended up liking him so much. He's number one.
it. Is that
Okay,
it?
because unlike
Oh,
yeah, no, well no, that's not it. What am I gonna say? Yeah, he's better than Sasuke because instead of like being completely consumed by revenge, he has this thing where like he wants to get revenge for the sake of his family because he feels a duty to his family, but it causes him to like do things that he personally wouldn't do otherwise. He's talking to Uhogan and he's talking about how he hates fighting, how he hates like the smell of blood and stuff. So it's just like this
right.
confliction that's pretty interesting throughout the entire
By
series.
the way, biggest flex in the series, he brought a shovel.
What a shovel! I love that. All right, so that is 39 through 1, and that is the S tier. However,
What?
there is a number 0.
What?
Oh no.
There's a number 0. It'll I didn't put them on the list because like they're number 0 for a reason.
It's Goku.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
I don't
I was wondering
and
where
also,
Goku was this whole time.
okay, they're the only character in Z tier.
C
Oh,
Oh.
tier, that's right. That is correct.
Yo,
Ah, yes,
cheese.
me Goku, me in Z tier. I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Well,
I
that's some big ass Gorgonzola there. Tell you what, that's cheesy as fuck.
I don't
Rip,
really
you
We
need
were
to
in it
add
for a
an F
long
tier above
con.
that and put my boy Frieza.
like his character is kind of whatever, right? He's not really interesting. Like as far as the character goes, he wouldn't even be on this list if I actually put him on the list. But I don't know. One, nostalgia. Obviously, nostalgia is completely ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
but Goku has this effect that I've only ever seen with Pokemon, and that is probably because Dragon Ball is a super simple series, so it works for Dragon Ball, but not other things. I'll try to explain it. So like for an instance, Hunter x Hunter, right? If you see
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter merch or something, or you see like something fan created from Hunter x Hunter, like it's cool because you like your series is getting recognized, like your favorite series or whatever. But in the back of your mind, it's like, well, it's not Togashi writing this, so it's not gonna be. It's not. We're not getting the Hunter x Hunter feel, right? If you see like My Hero Academia fan stuff, it's not gonna have the My Hero Academia feel. I feel like Dragon Ball fans don't really care about that. Like if you see
Hmm.
Goku in any kind of fan material, we get hyped about it because we get to see Goku do stuff. And I feel like that's because we watch Dragon Ball to see Goku do
Goku
stuff.
do stuff.
Pretty much.
There's
We're
not-
here to see Goku dodge.
I've seen like
by-
a lot of people suggest like changing the protagonist, like moving on to the next generation. I used to think that with Dragon Ball, it literally does not work without Goku. It doesn't. Like Goku, when
Yeah.
Super came back and he was fighting Goku versus Jiren broke Crunchyroll twice. Only Goku can do that. It's always been him. There's like gathering of thousands of people in Mexico just to watch Goku fight, to watch him save Universe 7. Like no one I can't think of another anime that does this to people. I can't think of another character in Dragon Ball that just does that to people on a meta level. And it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. He matters a lot to me. He's probably my favorite fictional character.
You know,
Like
it's
from a meta perspective.
it's definitely
It's
something to
crazy.
definitely something to note that Goku has always been the center focus of the show, except
Yeah.
for the Cell Saga. And while the Cell Saga might quite possibly be the best written part of Dragon Ball because of the way it kind of flipped things on the table, Goku has always like all right. So Dragon Ball starts like all the way back in the fucking 80s, like Dragon Ball, base Dragon
Yeah.
Ball. Goku's a
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
child.
Baby.
It's 50
Everybody,
now.
every episode is Goku doing something different. It's Goku this, Goku that. Goku turns into a giant monkey for some reason. Goku does this. He headbutts through some alien dude. It's
And it was
always revolving around Goku. That's how the series has
and
always been. So
it was
like
a
to
it was a
deviate from
gag
that
manga.
process, let me just finish one second. To deviate from that process is to like get rid of what made the series
It's
special
not
in the
Dragon
first
Ball
place.
at that point.
It's not Dragon Ball. It's something else.
And yeah, like I get that. And even
To the-
like, but Dragon
sometimes to
Ball
the-
just started out as like a gag manga, you know. Like everybody knows that at this point.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like you said, it's Goku's show. Like Toriyama tried to have Gohan, you know, he tried to have that passing the torch moment at the end of the Cell Saga going into the Buu Saga, and he didn't need the fans to tell him that this wasn't working. Like he was
He
able
just
to
knew.
realize that he was able to realize that on his own. And it's because like it's just like Goku is I will fully admit I don't like him as a character. I don't think he's
Well, he
I mean,
doesn't really have a character. It's just
But
He's
he
not
is the
interesting, like,
perfect.
really at all.
He is the perfect shonen protagonist in every feasible way
well,
possible.
I would say that
Because-
he kind of set the bar for the typical shonen protagonist.
Like you look at
Again.
Luffy, you look at Naruto, you look at Ichigo. They have facets of Goku, like the big three. You see him in them.
Because he will always rise to the challenge because that is who he is. He's always looking to fight stronger and stronger people. So as long as you keep feeding that cycle, then Dragon
It's
Ball could never
invincible.
end. Like theoretically, Dragon Ball could never ever end because Goku. If you revolve it around Goku, it's literally like infinite.
It's pretty
But then it
genius,
did
actually.
end.
And everything X just said, I didn't realize why. I didn't realize that until I was making this list. But like, that is literally the reason why Goku needs to be the protagonist of Dragon Ball. It's like that, and he has this thing where like it sounds cheesy, but he literally right. Both him, the two parts of him, most important parts of him, the way he continues to get stronger, and the way he pulls people to him. So like that continuing to get stronger thing, he needs to be the protagonist because if you change it to Gohan, obviously look at Gohan's character, look at what he became of him. You can't if Gohan is the protagonist of
This
Dragon Ball
poor
with
guy.
that kind of
Oh, Gohan.
Poor Gohan.
You peaked.
it's not Dragon Ball at that point. He doesn't have the same motivations as Goku. The entire tone of the series just changes at that point. You need Goku for that. And two, freaking look at the Tournament of Power team. You have, was it 17, who initially tried to kill him. 18 initially tried to kill him. Tien initially tried to kill him. Krillin didn't even like him at first. Frieza's still his freaking enemy. Goku Piccolo initially tried to kill him. Like
Vegeta.
Boo initially tried to
Majin
kill
Buu.
Vegeta.
Master
Goku's
Roshi
entire-
always liked him. Okay, that's different. But
yeah, pretty much like his half of his story is just like being
him
like, yo,
making friends out of his enemies.
it's kind of nuts. I mean, even on a meta level, like what I just said about like bringing the fandom together in the most ridiculous ways, that like pours out into the real world, and I don't see that on the scale that Dragon Ball does with anything else. Other
I
than, like,
spaced out.
Pokemon.
They're talking about Goku.
Yeah, I mean, I always wonder like I wonder about those kind of things and if it's just like a product of the right time and the right place, you know, because like
It definitely is because
when Dragon Ball came out, like when Z came over to the West, it was like the big thing because there was nothing like it.
Yeah.
We hadn't
1986.
seen anything like it before, and that's just kind of like rocked everybody's world, especially for like the reason why Dragon Ball is so popular back like in down south in the Latin Americas is just because like that was their main gig, I think. Like that was the one one anime they got, so they just sort of flocked to it.
Good job, Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat.
So I mean, it can be easy to hate on Dragon Ball just because it's like simple, but like it kind of just gets the grandfather clause because like you know it kind of started everything.
Pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, that's why Zero. And
I mean, if Dragon Ball came out in this day and age, everybody would be laughing at it.
yeah, it's it. Yeah,
Hmm.
But it has like this legacy now that like
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
like, makes it like it's fucking Dragon Ball, you know?
nostalgia's a hell of a drug. That is the list
That was fun.
for now.
That was also
No,
3.5
maybe-
hours.
It was a list.
I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball. I don't know like who all of you did, but like I didn't. So
I literally went on
I
a
didn't grow up
tangent.
with Dragon Ball either. I only just
I
started
dressed up
watching
as
it
Vegeta
literally
when I was
last
3.
year.
yeah,
I grew up with the series.
Like I've
I mean, I
seen
know you
parts
too.
of it, but I've never really.
I'm
Me too,
pretty
I was-
sure
I-
actually the Boo Saga came around when like the year I was born,
wow.
Shit.
like initially, and then it got like the Bruce Falconer treatment, and it re-aired on whatever channel it was, and I was like 3 at the time. And I remember watching it in my grandmother's house in my old uncle's room because my uncle moved out at the time,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what Dragon Ball was at the time, but like the first episode of Dragon Ball I saw was in the Buu Saga because Vegeta was wearing his tank top.
Oh well, here's the backstory. It all makes sense now.
But then when I like looked into Dragon Ball a little more, like a year later, I see Vegeta with this armor, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, wait, is Vegeta a good guy now, or is he a bad guy now? Like, how did it start out? And then that's how I got into the series. So
That's how all of it
that's
began.
how it all started. It was Jeets.
Honestly, like I don't know, because my first anime were like Zatch Bell and Soul Eater. Those
Oh
were
my
like
God, Zatch Bell.
the first two that I distinctly remember watching that weren't Pokemon because
Oh, yeah.
I mean everybody watched
Yeah,
Pokemon.
Pokemon doesn't count. I feel like Dragon
Right.
Ball shouldn't really count either, low key.
Yeah.
Digimon
Well, I mean, yeah.
over here. Digimon at One Piece.
My three shows when I was a kid were Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
You old as hell.
And
Shut
Yu
up! I'm
Hakusho-
24 in
and Yu
5 days,
Hakusho,
6 days.
Yu Hakusho came out like I mean, well, I watched it like
And I'm
much later
24
than
in 14
after.
days.
Okay,
Shit, we are old.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
22
Yeah, Flair.
in
We are old, man.
over a month, but soon. But yeah, like Yu Hakusho, I watched that way later than either of those two shows, and it just I don't know why. It just like maybe it was just I saw it at the right time in my life, and that show just like really hit with me. I guess.
All right, well, I'm gonna stop the recording. It's been
Yeah.
3 hours,
Good.
26 minutes, and now 7 seconds.
Holy moly!
Thank you for your time, everybody. This was fun.
This was
Yeah,
very
it was
fun.
good.
And
It was very
now
fun.